Welcome back to a new Screamer Saturday. Screamer Saturday number 5. I'm your host, Untitled Joker. I'll be your main commentator today.
And I'm Mila. I'll be the co-commentator here alongside Joker. I am ready for some action, Joker. How about you?
Honestly, it's been a little bit since I've done any Screamer-related gameplay. Been pretty busy, been a little sick, unfortunately, so I'm extremely excited going into the Screamer Saturday. I've been craving to see some people go nuts. The big thing is, especially after the last Screamer Saturday, a lot of people were very happy with how it transpired and the rule set, so I'm very excited to see how new team compositions really just formed throughout this Screamer Saturday overall. Especially with the fact that since now we don't have any duplicates on characters, you can't just run the same things. So now it leads to a lot of very unique team compositions that a lot of players may not have even thought of previously, or might have thought were just too underwhelming compared to just running like double Roshin, double Hina, things of that nature, which is really cool to see. So I'm very happy about that. What about you, Mila? What do you think about last Screamer Saturday going into this one?
Now that we've settled on a definitive format for our Screamer Saturdays tournaments, I'm excited to see how people adapt to the meta now that it's we've got something in place. People have had time to theory craft. There hasn't been anything changed in the last 2 weeks, so we'll see if people have been stepping up their game.
Honestly, I'd be shocked if they weren't stepping up their game. I mean, heck, especially after the last Saturday that we played. I mean, genuinely, it was one of the most interesting things. We saw a lot of really interesting picks. We saw a lot of really interesting team comps that we never would have ever seen if we continued to allow double character picks. So this is something that's actually really cool, and it's very interesting to see how this all has transformed overall. With the fact that now we're going to be seeing, I mean, heck, we saw literally, I think, one of every character except for Aisha, I believe, for the most part. I don't remember if there was anyone else that we missed, but I think it was just specifically Aisha we did not see. Maybe we did see her. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Aisha is the one character that we missed from our last Screamer Saturdays. Every single other leader and member was picked at least once during our streamed rounds of Screamer Saturdays 4.
And honestly, if that doesn't tell you how important that making sure duplicate character picks aren't allowed for each of these teams, I don't know what does, genuinely. Even just seeing every character one-time minimum is more than we've ever seen previously. I mean, heck, in the previous Screamer Saturdays, we would just basically never see even half of the picks that we saw on Screamer Saturday number 4, which I think, honestly, really spiced up the gameplay and really made for a quite beautiful viewing experience, if you want me to put it in any other way.
Yeah, those matches last week were so satisfying to watch. Really satisfying seeing everybody at the highest level, and even some newcomers like Team Aura coming onto the scene and pulling their best.
Honestly, with the teams that they had to verse, they were slowly picking up the pace and really figuring out how to actually adapt. They obviously, the first couple races they had, they weren't doing too well, but as they continued to play, they were getting better and better. You noticed it in their gameplay. They were slowly figuring things out. And in general, we saw some characters that we never thought we would like see optimized to the max. I mean, heck, with characters such as with characters like Fermi, right? We saw a lot of Fermi action, especially from the fact that Fermi as a character is pretty known to just be kind of but we just saw the most impressive Fermi gameplay I've ever seen in my life. It was something that literally out of like David versus Goliath type levels of insanity, it felt like in some plays. It was just beautiful.
Well, Joker, speaking of plays, we're about to get into our first stream match. Nightspeed, over to you for our track picks for our stream match.
Alright, so we'll go over the tracks real quick. So, these tracks for today: Hawk Trail, Echo Dome, Financial District, Gamma Facility, Sector Landing, Anaconda's Nest. We are running it back with the double Anaconda core tracks. Absolutely insane to see. On top of that, we got quite a few tracks that are going to be tech-based, and then some of these aren't like the most crazy difficult, but in general, definitely going to be a pretty interesting setup or set of tracks overall. I'm very excited to see how these players play on these tracks in general, because these tracks seem to be some of the more seen tracks, especially with the randomizer. We're getting a lot of Hawk Trail. We're getting a lot of these sector tracks. Well, at least from last Screamer Saturday, we did see Financial District and Anaconda's Nest, and we did see a lot of crazy plays on these tracks. So each of these tracks are going to be very interesting to see overall. Hawk Trail obviously being shockingly a 5-lap track, out of some of these other tracks that are tech-based, you would think that Hawk Trail would be maybe a 3-lap track, but shockingly, it's actually very short. It is very cool to see how players have changed and adapted to Hawk Trail, because Hawk Trail itself, because of how short it is, but how technical it really is and how many bends it has, and it even has a few hairpins, it actually leads to a lot of high stress situations where you can get striked out very easily and you can get taken out and give points to the other teams very quickly. And even one mistake on Hawk Trail can actually lead to you immediately losing positions. So Hawk Trail is one of those tracks you have to be very careful about. Something that you do not want to be, let's just say, you don't want to be sleeping on.
Yeah, this track list in general is quite technical, and while we don't have some of the hard hitters like Tire Burner on this list, we still do see 2 of the sector tracks which are infamous for being very long and very windy. So, will our players practice over the last 2 weeks and really over the entirety of the game be enough to keep them on their wheels? We'll find out.
Honestly, as long as we don't see anyone popping wheelies like we did last time or going into the trees, I think honestly we could see some very interesting gameplay. Again, it is really going to come down to how players really adapt to each of the team's playstyles. So that's something we do have to wait and see how it works out. But hey, once we see how these teams actually start adapting to each other and how they start really figuring out what each team wants to do, how they want to win, things of that nature, it will lead to a lot of these teams maybe even forming some very unique team comps that would be more or less akin to counter-pick-based team comps or anti-meta team comps. We don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm very excited to see if any of the teams try for something of that nature. Mila, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think anyone's going to try to go for what you would be calling a anti-meta comp, or do you think everyone's just going to kind of stick with playing a core with one extra character that kind of sits as an outlier among the rest?
I think it really depends on the track. On some tracks, we've seen callbacks to previous Scrimmer Saturdays, where a lot of people are running basically the top 3 characters in terms of leader and then 2 members. But on other tracks, people were really diversifying their picks. Although specifically on this track set, we might see a lot of the same picks just because these tracks are so windy, so technical. So I definitely do expect to see a bunch of Ritsuko, Roshi, and Hina. Fermi is an option. That has seen increased traction very recently because of a couple of players' usage of it with great results. But for the most part, I think the top 3 characters are likely going to stay the same. But who knows? The players are here to surprise us. The players are here to give us a good time. So let's see it.
Absolutely. And honestly, one of the biggest things in general about these tracks, I genuinely think Hawk Trail is one of those tracks that you're going to see probably some of the most interesting picks when it comes to characters. I mean, heck, last time I believe we saw 2 Lavinias. I think we saw a Frederick. We saw a Gabrielle, I believe. I think we saw a Keiji. We saw an Akemi. We saw a bunch of really interesting picks that you would never expect to see, genuinely. So it's something that you would have to kind of be cautious about when you're going into this. It's something you have to kind of be weary about when you're going into a track like Hawk Trail. So I'm very interested to see what players really choose when it comes to Hawk Trail. I'm very interested to see if any of these players really decide to go with the Lavinia pick, because it seems like Lavinia has been picking up some traction as a character overall from her buffs, which, and in general, just people are starting to now use her more often and trying to push her limits. It's very cool to see Lavinia getting picked more and more.
Yeah, it all started with the Kusa GTR. Shout out GOAT for really pushing Lavinia to her limits even before the patch that made her even better.
Honestly, it's a shame that we don't get to see him right now using Lavinia and really popping off with her. But hey, he did some incredible work with Lavinia, and I'm hoping that someone takes up that Lavinia mantle. I really do hope. Now, in terms for the other picks, now, genuinely, when it comes to Hawk Trail, I think, honestly, we're probably going to see maybe Ritsuko, maybe Noboru. Those are going to be probably the most likely picks. Do you think any of the players here are going to go for a Mr. A pick, potentially, and try to end the race as soon as possible?
There's a chance. I think the Mr. A strategy is sort of petered out in the last couple of weeks. I think it was most prominent back in the early days of the game where there was a much wider skill gap between all the teams, but it's a lot more even in terms of modern Screamer Saturday. So a Mr. A breakaway strategy may not be enough to secure a win, especially since a lot of these players can keep up and not lose to the DNF.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're pretty much ready on our end, if you want me to be real. We're ready to watch some Screamer, genuinely. Honestly, we've just been talking, having some fun here, so whenever the teams are ready, let's get right into it, honestly.
I miss doing commentary for this game. Let's do it.
Now, we didn't explain the teams, so real quick, just to explain the teams on who is what. So, blue team is going to be Blue Inkwing, yellow team is STS, red team is D3, and green team is Aura. Remember that, folks? Green is Aura, D3 is red, STS is yellow, and Ink is blue. Now, going into the first race, let's see what interesting picks we do have today. We have Hiroshi, double Hiroshi, a lot of Hinas, and Akane. We're seeing a lot of crazy picks. We do see the Hina Roshin core on these technical tracks. Makes a lot of sense. But we do see Hiroshi, we saw Gabriel, we saw Ritsuko. What is going on? This is a whole new set of picks. No Nobaru, no Mr. A. This is insane. This is just genuinely like one of the most interesting lineups of all time. Like, I was not expecting double Hiroshi pick. I wonder if who's been actually really making Hiroshi just in general scale upwards like this. It's actually just genuinely insane to see this. We do see Prodigy's actually on the Hina. We have Kiwi on the Ritsuko. We see Azure on the Hiroshi. Zephyr's on Hiroshi. A lot of great picks here, so I'm very interested to see. And we do see Sync is already available for these teams. So who's going to draw first blood here? Who do we think is going to get the first KO here? We're about to find out here very shortly. I'm very excited
Love
to see.
To see like Hiroshi make a play. Ooh, some confusing
strike immediately.
Already out for blood. These teams are not messing around, Joker. And another KO!
Another KO!
It's lap 1!
Dude, these Hinas are going nuts. This is why Hina's such an important pick on Hawk Trail. Already 2 Hinas. I believe Prodigy and Ace might have gotten both those kills. I couldn't recall which of the Hinas it was, but insane. To see Gamma barely dodges a KO here. This is just insane. There's already first blood.
Hexaberry is so far ahead, by the way. Look at their breakaway. 300 meters from the backpack.
That's just insane. Nazir with an amazing defense here. Going for Zephyr,
Good
but
KO
barely misses.
Dude,
oh my goodness. This is already going nuts. And the thing is, with Hexaberry just going so far up right now, Hexaberry's going to secure this first place from the looks of it if they don't make any mistakes and no one can catch up. It really comes down to
the little bump from Azure. The John Screamer not taking that line the best way possible. Let's see how he recovers from that.
John Screamer just struggling so hard here. We do see Silicona actually does not opt into the shortcut here. Kind of worried about Gamma with the strike here. Probably didn't have any resources, so very smart to try to be safe on this. But honestly, with the
Gamma is very far behind. I'm not sure if they'll be able to catch up at this point. Wow, what a KO on Silicona.
Bunny with the KO here. Does Papercut go for the KO on Bunny? Let's find out here. Bunny, Papercut looking in trouble.
Good shield for Papercut.
He's looking insane, honestly. But again, we have 3 people in the back. We have a pack of what it looks. Another KO. Oh my goodness.
Silicona is on it, dude.
It's just insane to see. Like, we don't even have any time to really talk about how the packs are split now or anything of that nature. We're seeing going crazy, and Grunko gets shoved off the cut.
Opts not to take the shortcut after being shoved. Didn't want to get stuck on the shortcut. Oh, and he gets turned around by the wall! But he still gets the shield off. Excellent defensive play from Grunkle Harry.
It's just insane. Not only did he get shoved off the cut, but he was able to recover, spun out, and recovered again with some incredible defense. Absolutely insane to watch this. Genuinely. But again, Hexaberry is just still so far ahead here. I don't think anyone's going to be able to get past Hexaberry at this point. I think Hexa is just way too far ahead.
It's just too much of a powerhouse on Hawk Trail. She's a powerhouse on all of these tracks, so it's not entirely surprising that Hexaberry is here to play.
Absolutely not. It's just shocking. Oh, spin out though.
Oh, what a spin out from Ace.
This could be really bad. Ace could get caught up by Akane. Akane might be looking for blood here. Is Akane gonna
Let's see what happens. Gamma is approaching Ace. Will they go for the KO? And they did it!
What an incredible line. Hexaberry in overdrive here. Wall riding just now in lap 5.
Wait a minute, but this isn't Hexaberry. This is Hexaberry. I've just noticed that, Joker.
Well, of course it's Hexaberry. Have you not seen the fact that they're not playing Fermi? Are you insane? Did you really think the Hexaberry would not play the Fermi? Well, we'll have to talk about that a little bit later. Right now, Hexaberry is just going out of their mind right now when it comes to front running. They're about to end this lap already. They're about 70% of the way through this. They're going to end this so quickly, and it's going to put all the other teams into a very bad spot here. D3 is looking incredible right now, but don't leave out Blue Inkwing. Blue Inkwing does have
Blue Inkwing is tied with them right now, though. That's the thing. Bunny is in 11th place. This is really bad from their perspective. They need... Oh, what a KO from Bunny! Now, those points that they just got might be what they need to secure first place in this match.
This is the big thing. Even with the fact that we have Blue Inkwing so close, we have someone in the back with Bunny who is actually doing an incredible job right now in scoring points. And we do see that Blue Inkwing does tie again. We could see another tie here. We do see that Aura is struggling just a little bit here. These teams are making it hard for Aura to gain points here. Very unfortunate for Team
30
Aura.
seconds left on the timer, and it seems like the remaining 3 field players about to finish the race. Paper Cut and Silicona going for the finish line. They're so close to each other, but it does seem like Paper Cut will be taking 11th place, with Silicona taking 12th. And
Just
once again, a dominant performance from D3 and Blue Inkwing, both tying at 370 points in our first round of the set.
I just find it insane to see that we do immediately see a tie situation. That, to me, is the most insane first race. D3 and Blue Inkwing tie with 370 points here, while we have STS with 310 and we had Aura with 110. One insane thing, may not have been as crazy as the last series where we had, may not have been as crazy as the last time where we saw we had a double tie occur, but you know what, seeing any ties occur is just insane to see. I just cannot believe we're seeing ties like this.
It's already incredible, Joker, but who knows, maybe we'll see more like it in the future.
Oh, potentially. And here's the big thing. I believe we are already going on to Echo Dome, if I remember correctly. This is going to be...
I believe it is Echo Dome. Yeah, this is going to be quite the brawler, especially with just how many turns there are. It's not incredible.
It's not even just the turns to think about either. It's the fact that Echo Dome, in general, has just some of the most insane potential for characters like Gabrielle to go absolutely nuts. Because although there's a lot of turns that you can actually do some wall riding on that makes it very easy for characters like Gabrielle to actually get a lot of the potential off here. So it's something we're going to have to wait and see what does end up happening here. We may see a Gabrielle pick just like we did see on Hawk Trail. There's definitely a chance for that. But the thing is, it really comes down to if Gabrielle can get what he wants done. Now, big thing with Echo Dome, we don't see Echo Dome a lot. And if I remember correctly, Echo Dome has one shortcut about 70% of the way through the track, if I remember correctly. Kind of where you see the second to last hairpin, I believe. Hard to say. It's around that point, which it saves an incredible amount of time. Like, it's
hard to take.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's one of those points where if you mess up big time, you will get taken out very quickly. You do not want to make a mistake there.
Here we are. We're about to get into the race here. Let's see. What do you think the character spread is going to be here on Echo Dome? We were surprised by by John Screamer appearing on Hawk Trail. Who do you think is going to show up here?
At this point, anyone could appear. We could see an Aisha pick for all we know. Like, genuinely, seeing Hiroshi on Hawk Trail wall tracks, I did not expect that to be a Hiroshi track or even viable for Hiroshi. I was actually fully expecting a Noboru pick or even a Mr. A. But Hiroshi, that one threw me off. At this point, it could be anyone. We really could see someone go for the Aisha pick just for the added protection immediately. Having that shield can help quite a lot early on, and in general, it helped quite a lot on this track. It really just depends. I don't think Aisha is going to be the best pick, obviously, by any means, but we could see someone opt into it if they are worried for characters like Gabrielle, characters like maybe KG if someone wants to opt into that, or even just the Hina or Roshin picks. There's a good chance that someone might want to have the Aisha shield just to have some added protection just in case things go awry. But again,
well, here we are. We're about to get into the match, Joker.
It's just insane to think that we're already getting into race number 2. And honestly, I don't know who we're going to see. Like, I really don't. I'm very shocked at the picks. If we don't see a Noboru here, I got no clue what anyone's going to be picking anymore. I really don't.
Well, let's find out.
Well, we better find out very soon. And find out we shall. Going into Sector Echo Dome, we are looking at a lineup like no other. I would say that if we could actually see it. Still loading, unfortunately. But going into it, we see Gabrielle, Noboru, Ritsuko, Hiroshi again? What are we doing? We have Hiroshi. John Screamer is not giving up. John Screamer himself wants to show off how powerful he is, and I don't blame him. And we also saw a Hope as well. Gregor, Hope, and Hiroshi being the outlier picks here, where Noboru, Ritsuko, Roshin, and Hina are the main normal picks. So we'll have to wait and see how these players really play this track and how they go about actually just going for KOs here. This track, again, something just insane to see that we have such a kind of interesting track overall, and the layout itself is definitely one that you have to be very cautious about. You don't want to make any mistakes on this track because, again, as we stated earlier, one mistake on this track is easily going to lead you to getting completely taken out and KO'd very quickly. So it's something that these players have to worry about, and especially with all these turns early on, Hina can get a very quick charge or strike charged up through hype. So this is something players do need to be careful about. Prodigy already in the lead with the Noboru here, but Kiwi is right behind. Stingblaze and Hexabaria are not letting these two get away. The Hina army is making sure that they overtake Ritsuko. Again, as I've said previously, I don't think Ritsuko is the leader. It is Hina. With how many times Hina has front-run these tracks, Hina is showcasing how much of a leader she truly is for Strike Force Ramonda. Now, going back here with Ace. Ace is going to get striked out by Grunkle, but barely dodges it and tries to get away from Grunkle. Grunkle just barely missing that. Insane to see how close it was. And it looks like no one made too many mistakes on the shortcut. Very well done, genuinely. So, this is just insane to see how this is all going in general. And we do see, again, the Hinas are just leading the pack here. It's just crazy to see how these members are just leading so incredibly well. Mila, what do you got to say about this situation?
I mean, seeing the Hinas lead the pack here was much like we saw on Hawk Trail. Like all 6 of the tracks in the set are tracks that Hina completely excels at. The off-meta picks from the leaders here. Not everyone's running Ritsuko, so we know for a fact that Hina will just completely outpace most leaders on these tracks here. So, whoa! Buddy goes flying! Was that a turnaround? And they're still on the track! Wow! Have you ever seen anything like it?
I've never seen anyone do a complete 360. Well, I guess they don't call them bunny for no reason. They got hopped, so that's all I can really say. That was an insane recovery from that hop, genuinely. And Azur does get strike baited, tries to go for the strike on the bunny, but misses and almost gets spun out. Azur just cannot get Azur just couldn't get it here, but Azur's looking to get striked out by Bunny, has no resources. Bunny is not going to take the risk, though, just in case Azur does have a shield. So Azur has nothing, though. What is going to happen here? Trying to push Bunny off the cut, but does not succeed on this. Bunny uses the shield here, looking for a strike, and Azur with an amazing shield. Very well done. These two are fighting for their lives right now, going back and forth, non-stop. But we do see Kiwi, Gamma, and Sting is still leading the pack. Sting is just going just insane right now. And we do see Blue Inkwing just taking over top 2. And we do see a KO immediately. What is going on? Kiwi getting a KO. This is just insane, and we're already on the final lap for everybody. It is just unreal, genuinely.
Stingplay still holding that 1,000 meter gap over some of the players in the back here. One can only wonder, where is Hexaberry? Are they currently contesting Blaze? We do see Gamma here in overdrive. Actually, they are trying to catch up, and now they are in first place with the help of their overdrive. Hexaberry also in overdrive, needing to avoid their T-Way. Coca Kiwi need to really navigate around these bends so to not explode. But Gamma and Stingplay is firmly holding down top 2, giving their team 385 points. All of the top 3 in overdrive. I don't know if Hex can catch up, and he's exploded! This is really bad for D3. Inkwing might just seal it away here, considering it's the final lap. We have Grunkle Harry holding down the back here with Roshin, but it doesn't matter. Stingblaze and Gamma both finished the race. This is going to give them the point advantage they need to stay in first, unless D3 can make something happen here on the final lap. But I don't know about this one, Joker.
It's going to be really tough. I don't know if D3 can make this comeback. 70 points is a tall order. I mean, heck, you're looking at least, I believe, 6 KOs, and you have to get 6 KOs in 36 seconds with a lot of great players. And we do see a KO, though, but I believe it was team-on-team violence.
Just a little bit too late.
Very unfortunate. But again, even with that, still, Blue Inkwing was able to take a solid top 2 and hold that for the rest of the last 2 laps. Very insane to see. Hexaberry just was unable to really recover from that situation. Very unfortunate here, but very, very well done from all these teams. Aura, unfortunately, again, these teams are not making it easy for Aura. Aura, the newcomers, are trying their hardest here, and they're doing a good job. but they still need to find they really got to find their grounds here. They got to find what they need to be doing here against these teams, because these teams are not only just hyper aggressive, but they are insanely good at their defensive capabilities. So it's something that's going to take a little bit of time for Aura to really figure out here. Maybe we'll see we'll potentially see Aura actually adapt to these teams. Again, we'll have to wait and see how they adapt to it, but they are they are increasingly getting better each race here. They definitely are the adaptable team. Now, we'll have to see how this goes from here, though. Now, next track. This is going to be, I believe, Financial District. Financial District has a lot of 90-degree turns. Not a lot of hard turns. It's a lot of, like, 90 degrees, but nothing, like, too difficult, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but even still, those 90-degree turns can really mess people up. We're going to see a lot more collisions here from people trying to drive people into the wall. It's a very viable strategy just to mess up their lines and really kill their speed, because especially on some of the members, like if people decide to go Hina doesn't have very good acceleration. She has to rely on her strikes to get back up to speed. So if she gets slammed to a wall, she could be in a really bad situation.
Did you mean Roshin, not Hina? Hina has amazing acceleration. I believe you meant Roshin there.
Oh, my bad, Joker. Yeah, I did mix the two up there. The two are picked so often that I'm confusing their properties.
Honestly, at this point, I don't blame you. Both of them are known for getting their strikes very quickly in one way or another, and they're both just very dominant picks, and they're seen so often here. Genuinely, it is something that you have to be kind of paying attention to, and really, or not paying attention to. That's coming off as being rude. I should be saying it comes off as, what I'm trying to say is these two characters kind of function in similar ways, but the ways they get their functionality is through different means, if you get what I'm saying. So I don't blame you for mixing them up, honestly. But
yeah, it's been a little bit. So I mean, hey, we're gonna see these players in action and see what they do during the turn. See if the strategy I mentioned is gonna end up panning out for them.
Oh, absolutely. And with Financial District, this is definitely a track you could see a lot of KO-based characters on. Since it's just I believe about 9 90-degree turns, or 8 of them, somewhere around in that range. I'm not perfect with counting, but the fact that you have so many 90-degree turns, this allows for characters that are very strike or overdrive based to really potentially go and do some crazy stuff here. Now, obviously, high acceleration is something that really matters here. If you can't take the 90 degrees perfectly, having very high acceleration helps a lot here. But in general, making sure that you can get a lot of KOs off these 90 degrees, because a lot of people are going to be pushing each other into the walls, so it leads to a lot of opportunity that players might want to really capitalize off of. And going into the character select, we are going to see Gabrielle, 2 Gabrielles, a Frederick, a Dirk. We're seeing a lot of crazy characters here. What are we saying? Oh my goodness, this is just insane. I believe there was a Nobaru as well, and a Kane. This is an insane lineup to see.
We have a Dirk in the house as well.
Dude, Dirk is about to go crazy here. I can just feel it. This Dirk is going to go and get 1,000 kills. But we'll have to wait and see how the players really deal with the Dirk. Dirk getting even 1 KO, even if it's on his team, he will go in the Bloodlust. And if he goes in the Bloodlust, he can start chaining like mad. He is a character you do not want to let get started. Absolutely.
Papercut slamming into the wall here. Still sleep streaming off of Ace. Sort of a bump on the wall, but the Ace doesn't have too much of a breakaway still. We have Sync available, so anything can happen.
Oh, absolutely it can. And the thing is, the hard part with Gabrielle is Gabrielle's handling is not the best, and his drift is not the best. As you can see, Ace is able to take these turns very easily because Nobaru handles pretty... Oh, Kiwi goes for the KO, but misses. And Gabrielle gets the KO! Papercut with the KO to counter back. But again,
great work, Papercut. They can really put the breakaway now on lap 1.
But again, the big thing with Gabrielle as a character is because his handling and his drift are pretty bad. Overall, we do see another KO come out. Couldn't tell who it was on and who got it, but in general, insane to see. We do see a potential strike coming out, but does not go for it. Now, again, one of the big things that we have... Oh, with an amazing shield from Hexaberry. Very well done here. It was hard to tell if the shield went off, but very, very well done.
Let's go over to Gamma here in the back. Gamma still repping Akane from the previous 2 races. They go for the strike, and they hit! But they also explode? Did someone else KO them?
I wonder what happened, and we do see Frederick unfortunately explode on the wall just barely here. Frederick, one of those characters, you have to get a KO if you want to be safe here. If you don't get a KO, you will immediately explode on anything you touch, basically. So it's something that you have to be very cautious about.
Stingblaze ran into the wall, able to use one of their bars to catch back up to the pack, but even still, Bunny and Koa Kiwi were absolutely breaking away on the turn. Stingblaze doing everything they can to try and catch up. Will it be enough?
Who knows? But what we do see right now is that D3 and Blue Inkwing are showcasing that these tracks, well, specifically this track, is not their best. We're seeing a complete flip of the leaderboard right now. Now, I don't know if this is going to maintain for the last 2 laps, but the fact that we see Aura and we see STS in top 2, whereas D3 and Blue Inkwing are struggling quite heavily, this is something interesting. This is a complete turn of events. Genuinely, I don't think anyone is expecting this. Azure is unfortunately very far away from anyone, so this is going to be very hard for Azure to catch up. If Azure can catch up, though, this could lead to Frederick getting some pretty nice KO chaining. Now, again, we'll have to wait and see what does end up happening here. No one's out of the woods just yet here. Anything can happen. Gamma immediately in overdrive here. This could be really good for Gamma. Gamma could catch up here. Prodigy
striking but missing. Gamma countering with overdrive, but also missing. We do see Prodigy power up. Try and catch up to Gamma through use of their strikes. Gamma gets a kill in overdrive.
Unfortunate. Silicana tries to go back and try to KO Prodigy, but it did not work here. Prodigy trying their hardest here, trying not to get KO'd and trying to get any KOs they can. Again, SDS just holding down the fort here, 295. This is just an insane set of points to see right now. Kiwi is still only in 4th place here. Very hard for Kiwi to catch up here. I mean, heck, this is what happens. One mistake on a track that's a little bit easier and that allows for even one mistake to really set the pace of the rest of the race. He's showcasing so incredibly well how all these teams, it doesn't matter if they do bad in previous races, all these teams are just incredibly good, and these players are incredibly good. I mean, heck, Silicana here, even in the back, is getting KOs constantly. I believe already has 2 KOs, looking for a 3rd potentially on Prodigy, and Prodigy does not want that to occur, making sure to wall ride as much as possible to get away from Silicana here. This could be the chance that Silicana wants here, but actually overtakes Prodigy, not even going to go for the KO here. Papercut is just off to the races here, using their strikes at every chance they get, and it's just insane. They have a 1,000 meter front run on all the other characters here, all the other members, all the other leaders. Papercut is going and playing out of their mind right now.
They're on the final lap, by the way, so do keep that in mind. We're going to see the 1-minute timer count here shortly, and this advantage that Papercut has is really going to force the pace for the rest of the people in the back to see if they can score points. We do see D3 moving up the ranks. We do see Koga Kiwi is in 3rd now. But we have to wonder where the rest of D3 and Blue Inkwing is in comparison to everyone else right now, because Street Saints is just completely broken away. To Hexaberry's credit, they are still holding down 1st place among the member positions. No other members ahead of them right now, so they really need these points. We do see D3 is slowly climbing 20 points. You can definitely make up a gap of 20 points to catch the Street Saints. Gamma here with the strike, but misses on Zephyr. Really could have been what D3 needs if Gamma hit that strike, but we do see the 1-minute timer come off now. We see Stingblaze moving around here. Unfortunately, they are too far in the back to try and get some KOs. Blue Inkwing, not their best track here, but we do see Ace finish as well. We do see the members coming in. Kiwi about 400 meters from the finish. And we do see Hexaberry enter overdrive, so are they going to be able to get the 20 points that they need to catch up to Street Saints, or will Street Saints take the race? Grunko Harry, it seems like he's finished. I don't know if what Hexaberry's strategy is going to be, if he's going to slow down to try and get some kills or not, but one thing's for sure, there's only 20 seconds left on the timer. We don't know how many people are going to finish. We do see a lot of, there's still quite a couple of 90-degree turns left to go.
I think honestly,
will they
see
finish?
A couple DNFs. The fact that we only have 10 seconds left and there's 2 players that are still not even close to the finish line. Buddy's going to finish here, but Stingblaze and Azure might not finish here. This could actually lose a lot of points here. We're going to have to wait and see. And we do see 2 people did not finish, unfortunately. This completely changes the whole pace of this. And we do see going into this point total, waiting to see. We do see Street Saints with 1st here. D3 with 2nd, Aura with 3rd, and Blue Inkwing with the last. Not a track Blue Inkwing is proficient on from the looks of it here. This is definitely one of those tracks that I don't blame them, honestly. It's a track that can go really wrong very quickly here. So the fact that this was one bad race, very unfortunate for Blue Inkwing. But again, even with this one bad race here, that's not going to slow them down, because we are immediately going into another sector track. Crazy enough.
Ain't that just something, Joker? we do see Street Saints here really taking off on Financial District. They really needed that momentum to try and get back into the set. We're now halfway through, I believe, with race 4. Which sector track is it, Joker? Let us know.
Well, going into the next sector track, if I recall correctly, we are going into an infamous track that we see literally every Screamer Saturday, Sector Landing.
Sector Landing, a fan favorite and a player favorite among basically every single competitive team here. Known for being one of the twistiest tracks, has a ton of 90-degree turns, much like on Financial District. It's also very long, being one of the only 3-lappers, and even among 3-lappers, it's one of the longest tracks in the game. We're gonna see a lot of interesting combat play here for sure, because people are gonna be forced to slow down on these turns. Who do you think are going to be the picks for this track, Joker?
Honestly, it's gonna be. Oh wait. Oh, maybe I got it wrong. I think. Oh wait, I forgot Sector Landing's next track. Whoops, I made a mistake. I am so sorry, guys. My bad. We're going to Gamma Facility actually. Again, I am sorry. I got it wrong.
Let's see where Sector Landing is in the track order
Sector
here,
Landing
Joker.
is the next track. I got a little excited here.
Yeah, it's the 5th one. Don't worry, Joker. We know you're really excited to see them play on Sector Landing, but
I'm extremely excited for Sector Landing. But Gamma Facility, hey, listen, still going to be a very fun track to watch here. It is just like Financial District. It is a B grade track, so it's not nearly as difficult as some of these other tracks are. So the big thing with Gamma Facility is, if I remember correctly, it's got one specific shortcut at the end of the track here. This is basically the smaller version of this track. This is the smaller version of, I believe, if I remember, let me remember this off the top of my head. I believe it is Vapor Trails. I think I'm thinking of. I believe Gamma Facility is basically the baby version of Vapor Trail. Gamma Facility, basically, the way this track is at the start, you're going to be going through a couple U-turns here, but you do have a lot of off-road that you can hit very easily with the Gamma Facility. So there's a lot of potential for things to happen to really make some craziness occur and a lot of slowdown. So we'll have to see what happens here. I think we're probably going to see a lot of Roshin Hina still, because there are just enough bends that Hina and Roshin can get a lot of value off. But I don't think there's enough bends that we may not see picks like KG. KG Lavinia do have a place here, and I feel like KG Lavinia do have some of the characters that can really do, or the KG Lavinia have things that they can do on this track specifically that I believe other characters may be able to do, but I think they can really take over for getting a lot of KOs. And in general, even with Lavinia, if there is a Lavinia player here, they might actually be able to get a pretty good lead on some of the other members and potentially hold down the fort. But again, gotta wait and see what happens here. Probably just gonna be Hina and Roshin as per usual, and then from there, just whoever everyone else wants.
Yeah, we are going to be getting into the track here somewhat shortly. I do agree with a lot of the picks that you stated. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of the meta picks still here, but KG would be an interesting wild card.
But I do agree, though, with the KG pick. KG is definitely one of those picks that, in general, you would legitimately... How do I put it? KG is one of those picks that would legitimately be a wild card in general. I mean, heck, you probably will not see it, but I would assume that someone might try for it, because KG is definitely one of those characters that can get 2 overdrives off on Gamma Facility, because Gamma Facility is 5 laps. It's decently short for there being a 5-lap track, but this, I still think because of that, KG could actually have some value here. I think we're not going to see Hope and Gregor. I think this track is just slightly too short for Gregor and Hope to really get a lot of... How do I put this? It's a little too short to see a lot of that late game value that some of these characters really want. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know for sure. But we do see... And Mr. A, 2 Gregors. I was completely wrong here. Gregor's actually getting picked. 3 Gregors, actually, I should say. Oh my goodness. We have 3 Gregors and a Mr. A. That's a whole different lineup I was not expecting here. Looks like Gregor's actually really good here. And I'm misremembering this track very badly here. My bad on that, to say the least. So, going into this. Now, the 3 Gregors are going to be like the 3 Musketeers, but just absolutely going insane. These 3 are going to legitimately cause problems, I feel like. Now, it's going to take a little bit for them to scale upwards, but I believe once they scale up, they're going to be a menace on the track. These three are going to be constantly striking and boosting at Mach speeds, making it really hard for these teams to not only avoid the Gregors, but also be able to overcome the Gregors. Now, Prodigy on the Mr. A is one of the most interesting picks here because Mr. A, especially on these forest tracks, is picked quite a lot, genuinely. Mr. A is a very common pick on the forest-based tracks, and is anyone going to go for the shortcut here? And we do see, yes, they do. Good shortcuts from both Prodigy and Ace immediately here. Very well done. And no one has any bad landings here. Prodigy is playing this very, very well right now. And Prodigy's in a very good position, but Ace is not too far behind. Again, as we were talking about previously, and Prodigy going to the first of many overdrives this race. But again, like we were talking about earlier here, Ace is able to keep up, and these players improving is allowing for them to keep up with Mr. A, even though Mr. A is the time trial champion, to say the least, or the time attack champion, I should say. But there's nothing that's stopping these other players from keeping up with Mr. A. Even a small disadvantage here is not, even having the advantage of having an insane amount of boost permanently, it doesn't stop these players from at least maintaining with them decently. But once Mr. A gets started and you can't stay with him, he will go out of control. So we'll have to see how Prodigy can finish this race pretty quickly here. But again, some of these other picks here, the Gregors, I'm really curious. How are the Gregors playing here? That's one thing we'll have to wait and see how that's happening here. And we do see two of the Gregors are in the bottom 4 positions here. We do see Azure here in 11th place. I believe we saw another Gregor in 9th place. Now, the last Gregor probably sitting somewhere in the mid-pack, maintaining, trying to quickly get to level 2 as fast as possible here. We do see Kiwi is not too far behind Ace, but Ace is starting to slowly lose pace with Prodigy. We do see Zephyr in 8th. Zephyr and Papercut are actually maintaining a mid-pack position. The question is, can Zephyr and Ace avoid getting KO'd here by the Gregors in the back, or will they be able to not only allow the Gregor to overtake them, but also get the KO on the enemy Gregor? We do see Gamma go for a KO, but does not get it. Very unfortunate. Kiwi with an amazing shield, genuinely. And Kiwi
with a return shield as well. Kiwi preemptively shielding. Gamma decides to overtake with their overdrive. Oh, Kiwi missing the strike on Gamma. These two are in a fierce battle up in front. Gamma here getting strike baited by Hexavari. Hexavari using the opportunity to overtake. Are they going to take the shortcut? Hexavari chooses not to take a shortcut in overdrive. Very smart move. We do see Kokiri and Hexavari, or Kokiri and Gamma rather. Good shield from Gamma on Hexavari. Hexavari's overdrive, using his overdrive to catch up. We have a battle here. Oh, Kokiwi getting eliminated by Stingblaze, I believe.
It was Stingblaze, in fact, and this is insane to see. The fact that these teams, I mean, heck, Blue Inkwing literally in a matter of seconds went from kind of struggling to get points to immediately is holding down the fort here. Even with that, we do see Street Saints is holding 5 points behind them. All Street Saints need is one more KO, and they will overtake once again. So we'll have to see how this happens. The biggest thing is if Ace loses pace right now and gets overtaken by Sting or even any of the other members of Blue Inkwing, this could be really bad. Grunkle Harry actually in 7th place holding some good points with the Gregor here. This is not bad, actually. The question really now becomes, can Grunkle actually get a couple KOs and prevent KOs from Street Saints? But it looks like Street Saints does overtake just barely here, and Grunkle's kind of struggling here. Go for the KO on Papercut, but Papercut with an amazing block here. Grunkle's now trying to get anything he can right now. Grunkle trying to do absolutely anything. Has a strike bait set up here. Goes for the KO, but Papercut with another amazing shield. Really holding resources here, and another shield.
Getting another shield and taking the cut super clean as well. All 3 players on the cut preemptively popping shield here. None of them want to get KO'd at all. Ace here in a league of their own. 600 meters behind Prodigy with 400 ahead of Gamma on their way cruising to the finish line. And we're on the final lap.
It's just insane to see we're already on the final lap, and it doesn't seem like Prodigy has made a single mistake this entire race. Maybe some minor ones that we weren't paying attention to, but in general, no major mistakes, and allowing Prodigy to end the race immediately.
There's our timer.
We have 1 minute remaining. These players have to get to the end of the finish line right away. And the big thing is, since this track is so short here, there's probably going to be a very low chance of DNFs here unless these teams start playing the strike bait game. Or, as I would like to call it, the strike bait ring around the rosy, where they just park it and play a game. And we
wow, what an OD kill from Silicona!
That's insane to see Silly with an amazing KO here. That's going to help quite a bit here, potentially. Now the question is, can we see what ends up happening? Can Silly take the cut here and goes for the shield, but spins
they
out
get turned around and explode on the cuts!
Honestly, after the amount of fire that's coming off that car, I can just tell you right now, someone was not happy about a forest fire occurring, taking out Silicona as soon as possible, trying to prevent any potential damage to the forest. Now, coming up on the finish line, everyone does finish here. No one DNFs here. And very, very good for these teams. And we do see Street Saints takes it by 1 KO's worth of points. Very well done. We do see Blue and Queen with 2nd place. We see Aura with 3rd, and we do see D3 with 4th. Again, Aura may have had a couple of rough races at the start, but as I've said previously, look at these players, look at this team go. They are starting to finally find their bearings here, and they're starting to figure out what exactly they need to be doing to actually play around these other teams. They are playing very, very well here. The question is it too little too late, though? That is the one thing here. They made, even with the last 2 races here, it might be just a little too late, but it really comes down to how close the points are, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But now we're going to be going to the track I've been waiting for, which is now Sector Landing, as we talked about previously. It's unfortunate we already talked about all the Sector Landing stuff already. I'm very sad about that. I was just way too hyped up.
Hey, well, we're going to be able to see it here in a few moments, Joker, so hold your horse just a little bit longer.
I don't think I can hold a horse, buddy. I think that horse would actually just take off while I'm holding on to it. That's the problem. So we'll have to wait and see, though. But again, Sector Landing, very long track. It is a track where a lot of things can go wrong very easily, but it's also a track that if you're good on it and you're very consistent, it is a track that you can accelerate on and just take the most insane lines I've ever seen. There are some of these heck, the fact that the shortcut on the track is legitimately not viable at all, just like on Financial District, and I believe just like on Anaconda's Nest. There are 3 shortcuts on those tracks those 3 tracks have shortcuts that are so bad or so dangerous to go for, you will lose more time than you actually gain. So no one really wants to go for those shortcuts, and it makes a lot of sense here. And in general, the way those shortcuts take you, either just going into the shortcut or going out of the shortcut, leaves you in a really bad position overall, where it's something that you do not want to take overall. And just in general, you also just got to worry about getting overdrived on, you know what I mean? So again, if we see someone take the shortcut, I'd be thoroughly shocked, because the last few Screamer Saturdays have shown that that shortcut is something that no one wants to take on Sector Landing.
Sector Landing is the track with the somewhat hard shortcut, isn't it, Joker?
It definitely is, but it's also the track with the super long straightaway where you can see out in the space, look how beautiful the scenery is, and watch your frames get tanked. Now, the big thing with this is the shortcut is kind of at a weird 90-degree angle where you're already on a bend and you're already going so fast around the curve that trying to get into that without slowing down tremendously or even getting just shoved right off of it and getting KO'd is very near impossible, especially lap 1. So it's something that you can't really risk, and it's something that you don't want to risk, because even getting slowed down even a tiny bit is something that can lead to a massive time loss. Again, as we saw in some of these previous races, even just one mistake has allowed players such as Papercut, for example, on Financial District, one mistake allowed Papercut to just completely front run out of control and made it impossible for Papercut to get stopped. So again, even one mistake even if a mistake on an easy track is that damaging, how bad is a mistake on a harder track that everyone's consistent on? You know what I mean?
Exactly, Joker. So we're going to be getting into Sector Landing very shortly with our players.
The question is, I wonder how the players are really thinking about this track. I wonder what they're thinking for the character picks, things of that nature. That's one thing I am curious about. Is there any specific team overall that's going to be trying anything unique? Any specific team that are going to be trying to do something? I don't know how to put it.
The great mysteries of Screamer.
I mean, honestly, at this point, there's just so much that you could really talk about. Well, I would say really talk about. There's so many things that we can't really talk about because there's so much nuance, honestly. Now, again, I am still waiting personally for a Lavinia pick. I want a Lavinia pick. But again, I don't think anyone in this pool plays Lavinia, unfortunately. So if we do see a Lavinia pick, I would be shocked still. I mean, heck, we still have Anaconda's Nest as the final track, which I believe Lavinia is fine on as well. But that's something we're just going to have to wait and see. We aren't seeing nearly as many picks as we saw last Screamer Saturday. But I believe that's because people are opting into the more meta-defining and meta-staple picks. So people aren't trying to go too far out of the boundary, and they're trying to play what is consistent or what is just consistently the best pick, which I cannot blame players for. There's no reason to be picking Frederick if Keiji's a better option, or there's no reason to pick Akane if Hina's a better option, you know what I mean? But hey, there are still some players that are using some of these really interesting picks, or allowing for some of these really interesting picks to not only thrive, but they're also playing them very well. So again, we have to wait and see, but I would love to see some more interesting picks, genuinely. Is there any specific pick you're waiting for, Mila? Are you waiting for any specific character? Oh, you know what? We didn't see an announcer last time. Unfortunately, announcer's not good on this track, unfortunately.
Announcers are good on any of these tracks, Joker. Yeah, I personally have been very patiently waiting on an announcer in a competitive setting, but it just seems her niche is too unfulfilled.
Her niche is specifically one of two tracks. You're either going to Stadium Olympus or you're going to Cradles. You're not going anywhere else. That is the problem. Cradles in Stadium Olympus and I believe Downtown Run, those are your only three really good announcer tracks. And even then, there are characters that just kind of do what she kind of wants to, but better and more consistent. But announcer is kind of just one of those characters that I would love to see her. The problem is she's just so hard to really utilize and so hard to really get started that, especially on these harder tracks, how are you going to maintain like S rank or even, God forbid, double or triple S rank, you know what I mean? You're not going to really maintain those unless you're on some of the easier tracks, genuinely. That's the big thing. Unless we see a Cradles or we see Downtown Run or Stadium Olympus, and even again, as I stated previously, you're not going to want to run announcer. You're going to run like Akane, Gabrielle, maybe even you're going to run Mr. A, characters like these that can really front run out of control or just play to their strengths better. Now, although we are talking about announcer, we are going into sector landing, and we do see Gabrielle, Mr. A. Lavinia is here finally. Gamma on Lavinia. I've been waiting for this pick. I hope she does well here. And
let's see.
Going into lap 1 immediately, a lot of very interesting picks here. We see Hope, Roisin, Gregor, Gabrielle, Lavinia, Ritzko, John Screamer, Hina, Mr. A. A lot of very interesting picks here. A lot of unique character picks that you would never really want to see on, or you never usually see on sector landing. A lot of these teams are having not only fun, but they are playing to their strengths as a player. That's something that's really cool to see. Obviously, we do see the 3 Mitosis Hinas that are still in every race, because for whatever reason, the scientists at Jupiter Storms, they just decided that, hey, you know what, instead of doing space-related stuff, let's do some human-related stuff, and let's start creating some copies of each other. Anyways, skipping over that, we already see a massive difference in the packs here. We already see a pack of 3 at the front. Actually, no, a pack of 4. And we do see Grunkle trying to get a KO on Mr. A here, but does not succeed. And we do see a pack of members in the back here. But now we're seeing a split. Looks like Azura and I can't remember and I believe Kiwi both made a mistake here. And we do see a KO immediately.
Bunny getting KO'd by, I believe, Paper Cut. We see Prodigy already popping an overdrive as well.
Well, they don't call him the master of races for nothing here. Mr. A is just the racing champion when it comes to just getting anything started and just going out of control. Again, that one overdrive immediately made a gap on everyone else. This is the thing. Mr. A has so much power because of this. It makes it hard to even stop Mr. A. Once Mr. A gets started, again, you cannot slow this guy down. He is the racing champion and is someone that you have to fear in every race. Heck, there's a reason why in story mode you do not want to verse this guy. He is a danger in the harder difficulties. Now, Zephyr tries to go for the KO on Bunny, but does not succeed, unfortunately. But Zephyr does have some KOs already, which is really nice to see here. I believe only 1 KO, actually. Zephyr might be getting strike baited here. Does get strike baited, use the shield. And Bunny is looking for to potentially pounce on this opportunity here. Gamma is holding 6th place here. This is really good to see. Lavinia, I believe, is the 2nd highest member right now. Who is the highest member? I believe it's Ahina.
I believe it's Hexavari with... No, it's not Hexavari. Who is... Oh, it's Stingblade with Ahina.
Sting's going for KO, but barely misses, I believe. Unfortunate for Stingblaze. Wait, Prodigy got a KO somewhere. Where did Prodigy get this KO?
I do believe Prodigy is just up there in the front with no one to contest him. Sting popping a shield, preemptively striking out of the corner to try and get a better line. Are they going to do the same here? Yup, they strike out of this corner as well. What will they do on the last U-turn? Are they going to burn their bar?
Doesn't seem like they burn their bar. Just trying to hold it for the shield. And now they burn their bark because they're really close to having some more resources here. Bunny is looking to get KO'd here, or Zephyr's looking for the KO on Bunny, but misses. Bunny tries to catch up to KO Zephyr, but Zephyr uses the shield. Bunny has, I believe, 2 strikes charged up. Bunny goes for 1, misses. Zephyr
really wall slammed on that, though. Their acceleration is somewhat poor. Prodigy here wall riding with their shield.
Again, Prodigy is already about, like, I want to say about 30% of the way through the first lap, or this final lap here. 40%, actually about 50, I should be saying, if anything. We're already seeing halfway done with this lap, and all the other players are trying to do their best here. Thankfully,
look at the point totals, though. Street Saints is 5 points behind D3 right now, as a matter of fact.
The fact that D3 is just holding a point lead, Prodigy is playing out of their mind, but the problem is D3 has more consistent positions, and I believe they're getting more KOs. Ace trying not to get KO'd on the wall here with their overdrive. Barely avoids death here. Twice actually cheated it.
They had to burn 2 bars in order to avoid death from overdrive here. We do see Prodigy able to finish the race on the final lap. The 1-minute timer is about to start. I do think everybody's going to finish, but Prodigy with an insane gap on everyone else, securing first place for their team. What is happening at D3 score? They're at 355 points, 360 even. Did they get a bunch of KOs while we weren't looking?
Someone had to have messed up on the side of Street Saints here. Someone had to have made a massive mistake here because it was way closer. Either that or someone on D3 just got a chain of like 2-3 KOs, maybe even 4.
We do see the other 2 Street Saints members down here in 10th and 11th, so I'm thinking that's what may have happened. We do see the majority of the players have finished the race now. There's Paper Cutter, and Bunny is back here in 12th. They do still have to finish the race, but they'll be able to comfortably with 20 seconds to spare. And we do see, even though Prodigy takes first place individually, D3 is going to be taking the race.
Just insane to see how they got a massive lead of points. It looks like Hexaberry got a string of 3 KOs at the end. That's where all your points came from. It looked like Hexaberry just got a bunch of KOs rather quickly right at the end to really take over the point totals here, making it very hard for Street Saints to get anything off and get anything done here. It's very unfortunate that this happened. D3 playing out of their mind, but unfortunately Street Saints just couldn't take over. Blue Ink Wing and Aura fighting in the back here for who doesn't get 4th place, but unfortunately Aura does lose by 5 points. And now the final track, Anaconda's Nest. This is a very interesting track to say the least, and I'm very excited to see how this track really plays. The question really does become is, what picks are we going to see on Anaconda's Nest? Obviously, with Financial District, we saw a lot of interesting picks. I think we may see a lot of similar picks from Financial District. Like, genuinely, I don't think we're going to see that many different picks overall. That's just me. I don't know about you, Mila. What do you think?
I do think Anaconda's Nest is sort of the same principle as Financial District. It's a lot of 90-degree turns. Not as many as Financial District, of course, but definitely up there in relation to other tracks. So we probably will be seeing a lot of the same picks that we saw on Financial District. But given the surprise we were thrown at the very beginning of the set that has lasted for all 5 of the races that we've seen so far, we might see some. We might still see some off meta.
Honestly, the fact that, I mean, there's a lot of like potential straightaways here. There's only really, you have what, I think 5 90-degree turns, 6 of them actually. There's 6 90-degree turns and 1 pretty tight U-turn. Actually, no, I might be wrong. I think there's 8 90-degree turns here. I think I'm wrong. There's 8 of them. But again, that's besides the point. However many 90-degree turns, it doesn't really matter here. And the big thing that really comes is the fact that we have the potential to see KG really pop off. KG is one of these picks that you don't see a lot of KG. But when you see KG, there's always one specific player that goes absolutely insane with KG. And I think you know who I'm talking about. But we may see someone take up the mantle in this group to actually play KG and go nuts.
We really do need to see KG at some point this tournament. KG is just an absolute powerhouse and a crowd pleaser. I'm sure as the chat here will back me up on that.
It's just really interesting to see that we haven't seen a single KG this entire time. Now, I wonder why that is. I wonder if anything was figured out why KG is just not getting picked. And maybe people have figured out that other character picks are a little more consistent or feel a little bit better to pilot. But again, KG, last time I knew, didn't have that bad of a turn, didn't have that bad of a drift, nothing like that. And he does only have, I believe, if I remember correctly, only 2 bars of sync, which is definitely a problem point for any character. But even with only 2 bars of sync, that does give him the opportunity to have only 4 bars of entropy, which allows him to get these massive situations where he can just go out of control with overdrive. So again, I would be shocked if we didn't see a KG, but I would also be not shocked simultaneously with just this group. This group has been playing a lot of consistent meta picks, just consistently maintaining the Roshin and Hinas with a few select outliers such as Gamma with the Lavinia. But again, we will have to wait and see. There's some things that could happen, some things that can't happen. Again, KG may just be one of those picks that may not happen this series in this specific group.
I'll never say never, Joker. We still haven't even made it to the character panel.
Hey, we shouldn't be quoting Justin Bieber, man. We could get in trouble and get sued by him. Come on, man. You know it's better than that. But yeah, we have to wait to see the character panel.
You're such a tease.
What, you were a Justin Bieber fan? Or you just want to get back into Screamer right away?
I do want to see all the Screamer action.
I couldn't agree more with you. Now, let's get right into the Screamer action here in a few seconds here. Looks like we're going right in 3 seconds. So, getting into this, waiting for the loading screen to end here. What are we going to see? The character picks are going to be interesting is what I'm feeling. We do not see the KG. We do see 2 hopes, though. Gabrielle, Lavinia once again. No KG. KG's nowhere to be seen. I wonder if the Yakuza took him out back. Very unfortunate to not see KG in this lifetime here. But, hey, that's okay. We still have a lot of really interesting picks here, and let's get right into Anaconda's Nest. How will these players take these first couple turns here? Will anyone make a big mistake on these turns? I can tell you right now, I make a lot of mistakes on these Anaconda Nest turns. These turns are brutal for me because I am not that good at the game. But it looks like
they are hard. Oh, we do see Silicona and Zephyr making a mistake here and falling a little bit behind. Their Sync not being up is going to make it a little bit difficult to catch up, but we'll see how the rest of them play the set. Let's go to the front. Oh, Paper Cut getting bumped into the wall. They're running with the members now. They do have their Sync, though, so pretty soon they'll be able to boost ahead out of all of them. We do see Hexaberry taking this wide turn super clean. He's keeping pace with Paper Cut.
We did see a KO, actually, by Kiwi. Did get a KO on someone. I don't remember who it was. I believe it was from Street Saints. Someone on Street Saints did just get KO'd by Kiwi. So Kiwi is now holding a pretty sizable lead, but nothing too crazy just yet here. Rebel Harry in the back here with Bunny. These two obviously playing... Oh, Bunny gets KO'd by Silicona. Silicona actually going crazy. I said the wrong name. Anyways, my bad. We're going right into this. The fact that Silicona did not allow Bunny to get ahead here, this puts Bunny in a bad position here. Bunny and Grunkle really need to look to get their Sync charged up as soon as possible here. This could be really insane for these two, for Hope. But again, the pack is already starting to split tremendously here. So we are going to see a situation where we see Paper Cut actually overtakes Kiwi now. Ace overtakes Kiwi. Kiwi made a big mistake somewhere. What happened to Kiwi? Kiwi was playing so incredibly well. This is what we were saying earlier. One mistake and you're immediately messed up. This is really bad for Kiwi, but can Kiwi make a comeback here? I believe Kiwi can. Kiwi is a solid player here and plays consistently all the time here, but Kiwi made that one mistake. Gonna be tough to see what happens here.
Paper Cut is now 400 meters ahead.
Again, this is where Paper Cut really thrives. Paper Cut's one of these players that if you give Paper Cut a...
Oh, Kiwi getting KO'd by Ace!
Dude, Ace is just not letting this go.
And this is so bad for D3. Street Side with a comfortable 85-point lead going into lap 3.
Oh,
Zephyr gets KO'd!
Oh my goodness. Zephyr spun out, got KO'd, and immediately we had to cut the feed. We could. That was brutality, unfortunately. Oh my goodness.
And not safe for TV. Avert your eyes.
It's very unfortunate that we had to see that. Hopefully they can recover from that situation here. But we do see Gamma is trying to catch up here, I believe. But Paper Cut has already made this massive lead here.
It's again, not over, though.
No, it absolutely not.
Gamma here popping overdrive. They are making a point. They really want to catch up the Paper Cut. Will they be able to do it, making full advantage of the shield? They've caught up, and they've overtaken. Right in time, as Gamma's shield has now run out. They do have to be really careful here on these tight turns. This to not explode. Oh! They're really close to the wall. That was a really close call.
The question is, can Gamma maintain this? Because this is the actual point that Gamma really needed here. This is what all of the Blue Ink Wing really needed here. And Blue Ink Wing actually overtakes from this amount of points here.
Wow, Paper Cut made a mistake. Gamma's 500 meters ahead now.
Dude, this is not good. This is really not good for Street Saints here. Street Saints really need to recover this. Gamma is trying to make sure in this lap 5 no mistakes are made here. Hexberry in overdrive, barely avoiding walls left and right. This is just so incredibly close here. I cannot believe they haven't gotten KO'd yet. It's just incredible to see how these players have adapted their overdrive use. They get so close to the wall, literally on a pixel level, nearly hitting the wall, but yet they're not hitting it. Now,
that's the cost of perfection, Joker.
Absolutely it is. And here's the thing. We have the members in the back here. Gamma's almost within range of them, about only 20% of the track away from them. So incredibly close here.
Paper Cut, Ace is broken away from Paper Cut too. Is this an open and shut case for Paper Cut? We use a Hexaberry getting their strike off on a member.
I don't know. This is just insane. Paper Cut may have made too many mistakes, unfortunately, after Gamma overtook them. And
Hexa slamming into the wall to try to get the KO, but gets turned around. That's a pretty huge point loss, but they really need that considering D3 is now at the bottom with 100 points behind Street Saints.
Here's the thing. Aura is holding a pretty sizable position here. Aura only needs 1 KO. Aura's overtaken!
Aura's overtaken! Will they get their win? It's a tie! 310 points currently with 35 seconds left on the timer!
Wait, this could be the first time Aura's actually gotten a first place here. Aura is so incredibly close to getting this. All Aura needs is to maintain position or just get 1 more point here. Can Aura do it, or will they be denied? Gruggle Harry is trying.
We see Gruggle Harry to finish the race. And that is it! Aura and Blue Inkwing tied for first place in the very last race of the set. Incredible work from Aura.
It's insane to see. At the very start of the series, what did we see? Race 1, we saw a tie. Going into the final race of this series, we saw another tie. And I believe the teams that tied, if I remember correctly, Blue Inkwing was I believe it was, if I remember correctly, Blue Inkwing tied again, being the, if I remember correctly, let me go double check that just to be sure here, because I just cannot believe that situation. Yes, it was. Blue Inkwing tied not only for the first race against D3, but in the second race tied again against Aura. I cannot believe that occurred. Seeing 2 ties in the same situation, and because Blue Inkwing got first, that allowed them to overtake, and I believe that puts them in first place now.
We didn't even talk about the score though. Going into the final race, we do see up on the stream view, the top 3 teams, D3, Street Saints, and Inkwing, were all within a point of each other going into the final race.
It's just insane to see. They were so incredibly close to each other. Literally points, a margin of 2 from first and third place. Like, I can't even speak. It was just so insane. But again, these players played out of their mind. And again, seeing that we saw a tie at the start, tie at the end, and with the final race, Blue Inkwing got just the points by the smallest margin, just enough to not only, I believe, not tie with anyone, but we'll have to wait and see. Before I keep talking here, we need to wait and see all the points here.
Yes, we do. And let's go ask our man on the back, Nightspeed here. Do we have our verdict?
We do, but I need to get the graphic up. So give me just a moment. And also, we're dealing with some behind-the-scenes tie-breaking, actually. So I can just tell you guys the scores right now before we put it up. So Ink ends with 46 points.
Wait, I think hold on for that. Let's wait for the graphic.
You want to wait for the graphic? All right.
I think we should wait for the graphic. I think there's something that this might be more interesting to wait for the graphic personally.
You know what, Joker? I agree with you. Give me just a moment to get that to you guys.
I think honestly, this is going to be the more interesting part of this. And so we'll have to wait and see what happened. Because honestly, just got to hold off. I am so incredibly excited to talk about this, but again, even with my excitement here, we need to hold off and not talk about it. Nightspeed. So, Milo, what do you think of this series? Genuinely, what do you think overall? Did you think this series was pretty insane?
This series was incredible, especially that final race from Aura was. We really did see their come-up arc this set. And we've seen how they've improved over the last 2 weeks, and that final race really just sold it for me. That race between them and Inkwing to get that first place tie at the very end, that was intense.
I just cannot believe the fact that it was that incredibly close. Like, the fact that Aura and I said this earlier at the very start, they had a couple bad races at the very start here, but they were able, and they kept slowly trickling up, slowly improving every race, and they finally got that first place position that they've been pushing for this whole entire time. Like, isn't that just insane to think how crazy they've adapted, how crazy they improved just in the course of this one series? Their whole team adapted. It was just insane. I think, honestly, it's sad to see
these scores.
Oh, I am too. I'm just saying, it is really sad to see that Aura, unfortunately, had a couple bad races at the start because they really went nuts.
I'm sure they did. It was incredible watching them race.
I couldn't agree more with you. Still just waiting on Knight. He's still working on this graphic here. All I can say is having a nice Photoshop file on standby to update the graphic quickly. Hey, all I can say is that's got to be one of the best things ever. Am I right or am I right? I have no idea if he uses Photoshop. I'm just saying that just because. I will say, let's talk about the characters we did not pick, or we did not see get picked. Because honestly, there were a couple of characters that I was really excited to see. Insane to see where the, I'm going to say this, where the heck was Fermi? Hexaberry was in this series and there's no Fermi? Did someone put Fermi in the dog pound? Like, what happened?
Yeah, I think the players might have reevaluated their love of the dog here, Joker, for this.
You're telling me Hexaberry, after the last series in the last Screamer Saturday, having some of the most highlight plays ever, just decided that Fermi was just not going to show up? Really?
I suppose so.
I can't believe that. Fermi, I guess there's a reason why Fermi is considered unfortunately, I believe, a bottom tier pick. I can't believe that Hexaberry, unfortunately, opting to not play the dog. I'm so sad about that. I was so excited to see all these really cool Fermi plays, but you know what? It is what it is. We'll have to wait and see what does end up happening in and of itself, but oh boy. Other picks. It is sad that we did not see Announcer either, but it makes sense. Announcer can't really play on any of these tracks. I don't see where Announcer can actually get picked here. There really isn't a spot for Announcer, I feel like. And we do see scores are up. And oh boy, Blue Inkwing, 46 points with first. Street Saints and D3 tied for second with 42 points. And finally, Aura, or Arma Eternum, with 32. An incredible series for Aura themselves. They played incredibly well, but at this point, we're waiting to see what's going to end up happening with tiebreaker stuff.
So here's the thing. Now I can actually come up and talk about this. What we have on the back end is, for logistical reasons, we're going to go off of average race placements, right? So like in this case, Street Saints had an ever so slightly better race placement average than D3 did, but I'm talking with them behind the scenes to see if we can't get a for you guys on the viewing bench, do you guys want to see more tiebreakers? Because the last time we had one, it was exactly the same all the way through.
Honestly, it would legitimately be really cool to see a tiebreaker. I mean, if these players don't want to do a tiebreaker, I can't really fault them too much. But a tiebreaker race would be really interesting to see, even if it's just like a Cradles race and everyone has to play like Announcer or something. We're just gonna wait and see.
Shoutouts to BS, if y'all remember that tournament in the chat. But yeah, we are going to be waiting here to see how the tiebreakers pan out. We appreciate y'all's patience.
We're going to go ahead and continue with this score for now. Just sticking to the rules that we did have up. Something to vote on for next time for sure. And also, we don't want to hold up the bracket any longer than we already have. So yeah, with these scores, we're going to go ahead. Blue Inkwing and Street Saints progressed. D3 fought very, very hard. If you guys want us to change the rules and make tiebreakers enforced on points, let us know in the chat right now. Let us know in Discord. This time around, we're going to stick with what we have, but who's to say next time can't be a little bit different if it's what the people want. As for the players involved, I did ask, and we're going to go ahead and stick with the ruling as is. it wasn't a unanimous decision between the players as to whether or not to do a tiebreaker. Hence, we're going to stick with the official rules that we have set.
That is a shame. It is kind of a shame. It was going to be really exciting to see a potential tiebreaker, but again, if these teams don't want to go for it and they would rather go based on the rules if they want to go fully based on the rules as they specifically state, then we can't really fault them for that. It is kind of a shame though. A tiebreaker would have been incredible to see, but if the teams don't want to play it out, I can't blame them. I mean, heck, if you worked so incredibly hard, you were playing so consistently well, and you were trying to consistently keep your positions and things of that nature as high as possible, even if the fact that you didn't get just enough points, if they want to follow those rules to a T, I can't blame them, because if you go into a tiebreaker, you're also risking your chance at progressing. That is something that does have to be talked about. It's the idea of not only just playing consistently, but if a team ties with you and they are just slightly less consistent than you, but they do beat you in the tiebreaker, that could legitimately cause a lot of problems for other teams. It is a shame, but I can't really fault them for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
definitely a decision, the fine decision from Screen States themselves. No harm, no shame to them. So please not go out of your way in the chat to harass Street Saints for the decision, because it is abiding by the rules and they earned their victory here, fair and square.
Yeah, I do want to clarify
Now-
that the reason why we have it set as we do, where average race position takes us further, is largely logistical, but also, like Joker said, it does reward consistency, right? Like, if you've been performing very, very consistently and you've gotten those really good performances, right? In theory, you should be allowed to progress a little bit further. As hype as tiebreakers are, we will stick with the ruling this time around.
Yeah, honestly, again, all these teams played really well. They kept adapting to each other, slowly progressing forward, and they just kept increasingly getting better. I mean, again, I've said it 300 times, but Aura has been playing very well and playing consistently to play against these three incredible teams. Again, Aura is a brand new team. These three teams with D3 Street Saints and Blue Inkwing, they've been playing for quite a while, and they have a very consistent lineup of players that are just incredibly good at the game, making it very hard for Aura to do anything. And the fact that Aura is able to adapt and really start playing around these other teams and starting to actually find their bearings here, it's leading to more intense and more interesting races constantly, and it's really showcasing the skill of not only just Aura themselves, but the skill of the other teams to be able to counter-adapt to Aura's adaptions. It's just incredible. And again, I cannot wait to see Aura not only in the future, but I cannot wait to see when Aura does make it going to the next round, because that would be an incredible situation for Aura. And I think that would honestly make some of the most interesting races, in my opinion.
Completely agreed. Do we have results for the other side of the bracket by chance? For Group B, who was unfortunately not able to be streamed today.
Yeah, we do. So, Emotion Engine ended their run with 52 points. The Lost Regiment with 41 points. Those are our two that are going to progress. The Fumblers in their long-awaited return put up a fight at 38 points. And D3 International, who I presume is the international offshoot of D3, put up a very respectable 25 points. So, very good performances from all teams on that side of the bracket as well. We're going to go ahead and get our finals ready, because today is only 2 rounds. We only had 8 teams sign up today. It's going to be a shorter stream than usual, but let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get that ready while you guys keep the audience entertained.
Well, keep the audience entertained. This guy hates us. Anyways, let's talk about the other scores on the other side real quick. Emotion Engine with 52? That is an insane amount of points. 52. Now, I believe that you would have to get, let me think off the top of my head here. You would have to get, I believe, 3 first places, a second, and 2 thirds. I think that's how you get 52 off the top of my head. I could be wrong on that. Correct me if I am. There's a lot of ways you can potentially get 52 points. But that is just an insane amount of points in general, especially because there was a massive gap between the Emotion Engine and TLR. TLR was 11 points down on Emotion Engine. Emotion Engine actually came and performed out of their mind. And then again, there was another gap between TF, which is the Fumblers and D3 International. D3 International and the Fumblers had a 13-point gap. So there was 2 different gaps in that series, which is just incredible to see. I mean, the fact that there were such gaps, that just showcases and explains in and of itself just how incredibly difficult it is to play against these teams and how incredibly consistent you have to be. Because again, even the smallest of inconsistency as a player and as a team as a whole can lead to you really fumbling, unfortunately. And it does happen. Some of these track picks are brutal. You do not want to make a single mistake on some of these tracks. So again, it's crazy to see how these teams have played. Now, the fact that we have our final bracket going to be Emotion Engine, the Lost Regiment, I believe, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head. Then we have Blue Inkwing and Street Saints. This, if I remember correctly, we saw this lineup once before outside of Emotion Engine. I believe it was these 3 teams, but Emotion Engine was... who was it? I can't remember exactly. But I believe we saw the other 3 teams all playing together previously in one of the previous Screamer Saturdays. And I believe they were all in the finals as well, which was really incredible. So
yeah, this lineup of 4 teams, now that we have Emotion Engine in here, this is going to be a really high-level final.
High level, I think, is an understatement at this point. I think we're going to be seeing something way more intense than just high level. I think we're going to be seeing something at literally peak Screamer. So, that to me...
Well, I cannot wait.
Honestly, I can't either. Like, bro. Going unprofessional there for a second, but I'm just so incredibly excited to see how this just kind of plays out. The fact that we have so many teams, and there's so many incredible teams now pulled into the finals here, this could literally go any way. It really does come down to how all these teams really adapt and how the teams really figure out, just in general, what they need to be doing. Because each of these teams, I believe, if I remember correctly, all 3 of them are highly aggressive players, but also there's a lot of really good front runners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what strategy people employ, because a lot of these players, not even just like front runners, but a lot of these players are very adaptable. We very often see in these tournament sets people going back and forth between the leader and member roles. So I'm interested to see, depending on the track picks, who is going to adapt to what niche.
Absolutely. Now the 6 tracks that we're going to get, I wish I knew right now, but we could see some pretty interesting picks. Again, depending on the picks, we could see a lot of tracks that are specifically based on if you make one mistake and you lose, or they could be a lot of tracks where we see a lot of things such as if you make multiple mistakes, you might lose. We have to wait and see what kind of tracks we get. For all we know, we could see Tire Burner and Cradles in the same series, you know? But again, we have to wait and see what everyone bans. But honestly, it's just insane to see. I need to be just... I can't think. There's just so much to it.
Joker put it very well. Let's hear everybody's. Let's take it over to chat for a little bit while we're in the downtime on the back end here, preparing our finals for all of you guys here today. So let's hear it. What was your favorite moment from round 1, Group A, the stream round of Screamer Saturdays 5 so far? So let's hear from you guys. What was your favorite moment here that you've seen today on the stream? For me personally, that aura show up on race 6 on Anaconda's Nest, truly a sight to behold. Seeing them play in Screamer Saturdays 4 as a brand new team, and then having them go against some of the best teams here, and still persisting, still practicing over the last 2 weeks, and they came to play. They came to play, especially now, and they got their win. It was awesome to see, and I'm glad a lot of people were behind that in the chat here. And honestly, it just goes to show how great this community is and how great this game is. A lot of people just being so supportive of the newcomers and helping them progress to the top. Yeah, Bunny doing the bunny hop on Echo Dome there was an insane moment. Not only did they do the bunny hop, they managed to land on the track, going the right way, and with all of their speed still intact, so they were able to pop boost immediately after. It was awesome. we see some opposition to Cradles here in the chat. I personally have been waiting for a Cradles stream round. That would be the peak of entertainment for Screamer Saturdays. Maybe not the peak of entertainment, I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but it would be quite fun to watch. Yeah, Gamma's overdrive on Anaconda was also incredible. That honestly, it might have secured them the tie with Aura, just with how astonishingly well that overdrive was performed. A crazy moment, if ever I've seen one. We are currently setting up the finals for you guys. Thank you all for hanging patience. These tourneys are always very fun to run, and we here on Screamer Competitive, thank you guys for coming out every single time to watch the best of the best perform.
The best performing are just, they're incredible. Like, it's just insane to think about how these players just, every time, I swear, we come back to Screamer Saturday and these players just keep playing even better. It's just unreal. Like, I just cannot understand it, honestly. Like, I just don't know how they keep improving so much in just such a short amount of time consistently. Because like, every time we see Screamer Saturdays, I just assume, oh, now we've gotten to peak. Oh, now we're getting to peak. Oh, now we've gotten to peak. And it just keeps slowly improving, and it's just a cycle of improvement consistently, and there's just so much to talk about, but I just can't quantify it. It's just insane.
Every week is a new battle. I think we've all seen that today.
Every week's a new battle, but it feels more like every week's a new war with how these players are playing. Absolutely going nuts.
For sure, for sure.
But big thing is now, what do we think is going to happen with the finals? Is there any track that we would like to try to predict right away?
That's a good one, because even though the players get some control over what tracks they don't want to see, even with 4 teams in the lobby, there's still 24 tracks to pick from and only 6 races each set. So I'm not sure if it's possible to predict what tracks are going to be showing up.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more with you. Like, I feel like the big thing is that there's just so many interesting pet tracks that could be picked, but also simultaneously there's a lot of specific tracks that a lot of players want banned. So it does lead to a lot of very interesting kind of back. Yeah, I literally, no one wants to go run the announcer cradles.
Downtown Run.
No one wants to see Downtown Run. No one wants to see cradles, but people are perfectly fine with Stadium Olympus. So, but again,
not everyone.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. But again, I feel like that just goes to show, like, in general, how do I put this? I think it goes to show in general just how incredibly important, let's just say, one mistake is. I think in general you don't want to be making one mistake and losing off of it. So I can't blame people for banning that kind of stuff. Like, I really don't. I think if you were to lose off of just one single raise, or if you lose a series down to one single mistake that happened on a more simple track, I think it would lead to a lot of annoyance.
Whew. I'm still riding the excitement from the last set, Joker. What about you?
I still am as well. It is kind of insane to see just how much the excitement train just, once it gets rolling, it doesn't stop. It's just unbelievable to think. Like, it just takes one single thing. Oh, perfect. All right.
Let's talk about these tracks, Joker. Let's read them out. So we have Gate to the Sky, The Port, Belly of the Beast, Misty Hills, Eden Blues, and Assembly Site B. This is certainly a contrast from the track we had on our previous stream round. What do we think, Joker?
Gate to the Sky immediately? That is an interesting one.
in, no time to warm up, just straight into Gate to the Sky.
You want to get straight into tech, this is where you're going to go. And the craziest part is, even with how technical it is, the next track after is the complete opposite.
It's the port. It's what I believe to be the single longest track in the entire game, due to it being 5 laps, and it's comprised of mostly straightaways. There are very few turns on that track.
And legitimately, it has the exact same end as Downtown Run as well. Like, it's just kind of crazy to think, for the most part, that the port is just, there's not a lot going on with port. It's just twice as long as Downtown Run is, but it's just incredible. It looks very beautiful. And then after the port, we go to Belly of the Beast, which is a track that has a notorious shortcut that if you make even one mistake on the shortcut, you will get spun out and you will get KO'd. It's something that you have to be careful about. And then immediately right after, we go to Misty Hills. So we have...
This set is all over the place.
Absolutely. Eden Blues, another track that's just... Eden Blues and Misty Hills are kind of in a similar vein of difficulty, but the way they're difficult are in 2 different ways. And then finally, we end off with Assembly Site B, which, if I remember correctly, Assembly Site B is the harder version of... which one was it?
Research Grounds,
I believe. Yes. This is a pretty interesting lineup of picks. We do only have... Obviously, we have 2 pretty simple tracks, but then after that, we have a lot of very difficult tracks that will come down to who's gotten the most consistency on taking a lot of these hairpins and taking a lot of these turns. I think the most interesting of these, if you want my honest opinion, is going to be shocking, but I think we're going to see the most interesting occurrences on probably Eden Blues and probably Belly of the Beast. I think that's where the most Actually, no. Gates to the Sky and Eden Blues, I'm going to take a wild guess. That's where we're going to see the most interesting stuff occur.
Yeah, I definitely think Misty Hills and Eden Blues are going to be up there for the most interesting plays. But I'm really curious to see how Gate to the Sky as the very first track is going to pan out for these players.
Well, noticing previously in other Screamer Saturdays, on the Gate to the Sky shortcut, we did see a lot of players, if I remember correctly, a lot of players would stop in the shortcut and actually no. This is specifically in the 1v1. In Gate to the Sky, it was... Who was playing Ritsuko? Do you remember? They stopped in the shortcut in Overdrive, and this was during the time where Overdrive was still bugged, where any part of the Overdrive hitting someone would immediately explode them. I believe it was Night Warhawk went through, tried to get past, and this Ritsuko literally, I kid you not, inched out to the left, just took Night Warhawk out, and then drove off to the finish line and ended the race.
Yeah, it was quite the funny occurrence on that one.
It was a crazy situation, like genuinely. I just can't believe that occurred. I don't know if we're going to see that again. If we do, I'd be thoroughly impressed.
All right, let's check in on our teams to see if they're ready to start the race. That's great to hear.
On. All right. So, when we see the teams, the question is, which team do we think is going to be the top dog here? Is there any team that you think is going to be a complete outlier? Well, actually, before we talk about that, let's address the teams. On Team Yellow, we have Street Saints once again. On the red team, we have the Lost Regiment with a new player, I believe, Mass Cataclysm. I don't think I've seen that name before. Have you seen him, Milo?
I've seen I think all of these names except for Mass Cataclysm. Yeah, Mass Cataclysm is new to me.
Mass Cataclysm is definitely a new player.
And they're running leader actually over Boyfix, who we normally see in the leader position for TLR.
That's an interesting one. I wonder who Mass Cataclysm is going to pick. That's genuinely a very interesting setup here. And now, Boyfix obviously known for being a crazy good leader, but we'll have to wait and see how Mass Cataclysm actually plays overall. Cataclysm could actually go absolutely nuts. So again, we'll wait and see. On the blue team, as you probably guys could tell already, it is Blue Inkwing as per usual. And then finally on Green Squad, we have Emotion Engine. A lineup of 4 incredible teams with 12 absolutely amazing players. It is time to get ready for Screamer. Finally, going into the final round of this Screamer Saturday, we will have to see how these teams play, what they opt into, what strategies they think are the best, and how they will adapt to each other. Mila, do you have any quick thoughts? Do you think any of these teams are going to try anything unique, or are they all going to, in general, going to kind of play a more meta-focused setup, or do you think any of these teams might opt into some more interesting picks? What do you think?
Screamer Saturdays is all about wild cards. Even at the very beginning of the tournament, where we were talking about people picking mostly meta, we were still caught off guard by teams who we thought would normally could go with the grain here on picks for certain tracks. But no, we continue to be surprised. The meta is constantly evolving. People are constantly trying new things. So I don't want to assign anything specific in terms of predictions, and I certainly don't want to assign any predictions for teams, because all 4 of these teams are fantastic. They've all been adapting to new changes and new discoveries. So I'm just waiting here to see what they end up picking.
Same here, to say the least. It's just insane. Now, we do know Boyfix is Boyfix is a Mr. A player. Prodigy plays Mr. A. Do we think Cataclysm plays Mr. A by chance?
He's an enigma. We've never seen him before on the channel. We would need to see how he plays.
So, going into this, let's see. I'm very excited to see if we do see the Mr. A here.
This would be so cool if we saw the Mr. A mirror here.
I would be very intrigued by the Mr. A mirror. And going into
Let's see.
we do see 2 Mr. A's. It is indeed, and 2 Fermis.
Fermi is back!
Wait, Fermi? We saw Dirk? What is going on? What are these picks? Oh my goodness.
Not even a bad pick on Gate to the Sky. Gate to the Sky is a very claustrophobic track. They really need, Dirk could really profit off of how clustered everything is. Oh, Super Plastic making a mistake. Whoa, Super Plastic and Boyfix both getting stopped really early. This is bad because they don't have sync to try and catch up.
That one mistake could actually lead to a lot of problems here. Now, we do see Prodigy and Cataclysm already off to the races here. Sting already going in front of Gamma. Saf going in front of Gamma as well. And Sting, and overtaking Sting barely. And Flammy is here as well. These players are all fighting for the front pack. They do not want to let the Mr. A's go off. But Mr. A has decided to clone himself 1-to-1 as a perfect replica. And they are going to both try and outrace everybody. Both these players are going to go insane at the front, so it does come down to, can the Mitosis, Ritzkos, and Hinas actually catch up to the Mitosis, Mr. A, or will it be impossible? Again, one mistake is all these players have to make in order for Mr. A to immediately get a front run so incredible that it's going to be impossible to catch up to. And Cataclysm immediately
popping the first overdrive. Saf taking the shortcut, very clean, using a strike to wall right the corner. And there we go, that's the first lap of Gate to the Sky, already in the clear. We do see Cataclysm having about a 250-meter advantage over Prodigy. Oh, what happened there? The KO on the wall. Wait, oh, Prodigy exploded on the wall. Mass Cataclysm now remains completely unopposed.
This is insane to see. Prodigy with the overdrive, though. He gets the KO on Saf. What is going on? These Mr. A's are going insane.
Mass Cataclysm already has another overdrive. This is incredible work from Mass Cataclysm, really being able to put Mr. A to good use. He's 500 meters ahead.
If there's one thing I was shocked about, it was the fact that Cataclysm was a wild card. But now it makes sense why Cataclysm is here. Cataclysm
good shield for Stingblaze, defending from Flamicat there.
It looks like the fact that Mass Cataclysm has already gotten 2 overdrives to Prodigy's 1, something tells me Mass Cataclysm has
good shield from Equimax. There's a brawl going on back here.
Absolutely there is. It's kind of an insane brawl just occurring here. Going for the KO, but
good shield from Paper Cut. We do see Equimax trying to pop a strike to come back. We do see Mass Cataclysm starting the final lap. 700 meters ahead of Prodigy. 700 meters on this track is such a huge difference. There is no straightaway. There is no chance to build back up your speed. And yet Mass Cataclysm is making it look easy.
I think making it look easy is an understatement. I believe Cataclysm has already gotten, I think this is their 4th overdrive already. Cataclysm legitimately has made this track look like it's a downtown run. That's how good they're playing right now. And Prodigy's not that far behind. Even with the fact that Cataclysm has had more overdrives than Prodigy, Prodigy's still not that incredibly far behind. But that's still, it's just insane to think that Cataclysm has gotten so far ahead in such a short amount of time just from min-maxing on not making mistakes and also just min-maxing the boost lines with Mr. A to a T.
Look at the point totals, by the way. Everybody's within a KO of each other, except for Blue Winkwing, who seems to be struggling a little bit, but any KOs could really turn the tide of this race.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. The fact that everyone's within a KO or 2 of each other is incredible here. But the thing is, now we see TLR is in a position of this. The next team here, being Street Saints, needs 2 KOs or they have to get a positional advantage here. This is already looking really good for TLR here. TLR is in a very good position here.
There's an overdrive. Super Plastic trying to get the KO, but unfortunately I do think it was defended against. They are still going to overtake and use it as fodder to counter, like a paper cut between 2 overdrives, between a rock and a hard place. But they are going to finish. Nice defense onto Grunkle Harry, but they do get stuck, and Grunkle Harry is going to be able to use that to overtake. There's Emotion Engine is currently tied. Oh no, but I think TLR is just barely overtaking them with Super Plastic and going out. Paper cut about to finish the race. It's going to be really close.
The crazy thing here is that in that situation, if you noticed, I believe it was Paper Cut. Paper Cut actually slowed down one of the members of Emotion Engine just enough to prevent them from overtaking not only themselves, but also prevented from overtaking the last member of TLR. But we do see, I believe, I think we did see no DNFs. I didn't think we saw a DNF.
No DNFs, Joker.
Which is insane to see. With how fast Cataclysm completed the race and started the countdown, the fact that no one had a immediate DNF on the race 1 is insane. But we will be seeing immediately first races going to TLR. Just barely, though.
We need to talk about something real quick because, wow, we saw the Mr. A mirror. This is the first time I think we've ever seen it in Screamer Saturday's history, at least on a stream round. And also the first time we've seen Mass Cataclysm play on for TLR. I think this is the first time we've seen Mass Cataclysm play for TLR in Screamer Saturday. And wow, what a beast they are. On their first race, they made one of the hardest tracks of the entire game look like a joke. And I suspect Mass Cataclysm is going to be a fan favorite here for our audience watching at home. But props to them. They are making this final interesting.
I just can't believe, for a wildcard player that we've never seen before at all, to my knowledge at least, they are actually playing out of their mind. The fact that they made Gate to the Sky look like it was nothing more than Downtown Run is just incredible to me. I was never expecting someone to actually be able to make Gate to the Sky look that easy. I know Prodigy played out of their mind as well, but Prodigy just couldn't keep up with Cataclysm's overdrives. It was just, there's just so much little optimization that Mass was able to get consistently that Prodigy was unable to, which to me is unbelievable. And I already thought Prodigy was a really good Mr. A player, and now Cataclysm over here showing that there is still more that Prodigy can learn. And the thing is, will Prodigy be able to actually adapt to Mass Cataclysm's playstyle and how Cataclysm actually plays, or will Prodigy opt into a different playstyle, potentially going more towards KOs? Because honestly, if you can't beat them and you can't join them, then you have to find another way to beat down the team. That's probably what Street Saints may opt into to try and gain some lost ground here.
Yeah, I mean, what a downer performance. Let's see if any of the teams rethink their strategy now that they've seen the absolute powerhouse that is Mass Cataclysm.
Going into race number 2, going to see on port, we may see Akane, we may see Keiji, we may see maybe Akemi. I doubt it. A lot of Akanes. Hiroshi, Noboru, Akemi. Oh my god. We do see Mr. A. And
the Mr. A mirror is back.
What a lineup. the Mr. A mirrors are back. There's 4 Akanes, I believe, and an Akemi. What the heck is going on? What are these players picking? This is just out of control. I don't think we even saw a KG yet. We are seeing literally every member besides KG for whatever reason. Why is KG not being picked? I am very curious about that. But Gamma's in the lead right now.
We just gotta wait for all these members. We have Saf on Naboru actually, which is an interesting pick.
I thought Saf was primarily Ritzko. The fact that Saf's on Naboru is very interesting. We do see Prodigy and Prodigy slams Cataclysm into the wall.
I mean, I think that's part of the strategy. I mean, they need to prevent Mass Cataclysm from breaking away any way possible. Mass Cataclysm is still back with him any way possible. These leaders are so close. This is the closest I've seen these leaders on a set of Screaming Saturdays, especially on the finals.
But Cataclysm, here's the thing. Cataclysm is popping wheelie after wheelie. I don't know if this is Mario Kart Wii or whatnot. I don't know how Cataclysm found this tech out. But let me be real, it's not actual tech. But in general, it's just crazy to see. Cataclysm is already in overdrive, tries to go for a KO, does not get the KO actually. And we do see, I believe, another overdrive coming out from Prodigy. Just insane to see how this is happening here. Boyfix is actually in 5th with Super Plastic in 6th. We're looking at a TLR looking really good here, but now we have Street Saints with a lead now. Mass Cataclysm is in 4th. These leaders are neck and neck, just going absolutely insane, fighting for their lives back and forth.
Did Cataclysm make a mistake? How are they back and forth?
I believe so. I believe Cataclysm got pinched into a wall potentially. I have no idea for sure. That's my theory at this point. But even with
that, Super Plastic are holding down these top 2 member slots really well, which is awesome for TLR. They really need all the points that they can get here.
Exactly.
You have to remember, there are 4 leaders in the race. The difference between 1st and 4th place is 110 points. It's 200 points for 1st and 90 for 4th. So these members need to fight for their positions. It matters so much.
Mattering so much might be an understatement. It matters tremendously. Even losing 1 position from 1st to 2nd is a massive amount of points. And we're seeing
Grunkle get the defense.
Grunkle might be in trouble here.
Oh, he's KO'd! But Grunkle also slams into the wall from an explosion.
This is just
everybody's popping overdrive. Look at the lineup.
Yo, at this point, the fact that we haven't seen an announcer is just insane. I thought we would have seen one. We would have seen her by now. What is going on? This is just
Prodigy is comfortably in 1st now.
It looks like Prodigy fully adapted to Cataclysm's playstyle. And I believe Cataclysm did get a KO somewhere. But the thing is, this is what I'm talking about. Prodigy has a KO as well and is in 1st. This is the most insane thing. Prodigy has found a way to not only adapt to Cataclysm, but has found a way to min-max Mr. A even further than he already has. That, to me, is just unbelievable. And again, this is what we're talking about. One single mistake on this track, or even any easy track, simply is enough to cause problems. It is more than easy to create massive leads if you make even 1 mistake. And Gamma gets
getting a kill on Gamma! That was not a wise overtake from Gamma. Boyfix being immediately in position to profit off of their mistake.
Question is Gamma going to be able to catch up with Boyfix? I think Gamma's looking for a potential shark angle here onto Boyfix. We may see.
Did you see Prodigy 600 meters ahead of Mass Cataclysm? A complete reversal of Gate to the Sky.
It was, but the thing is that, again, if Prodigy makes 1 mistake here, Cataclysm can catch up immediately. This is something that Prodigy has to keep maintaining here. And Cataclysm and Prodigy, I should say, they have only a lap and a half left. They have to do something. Gamma actually overtakes. Sting Blaze overtakes. Now we're seeing the members of Blue Inkwing actually maintaining 4th and 5th here with some good points here. Papercut in overdrive as well. Papercut trying to get any points they can for Street Saints here, but overdrive's about to run out here. Saf is looking in a awkward position here, not close enough to anyone to slow down to go for points, but not close enough to the front to overtake anybody. This is where Mr. A really shines here as the TT champion. Lap 5 has been started by Prodigy. So we're now onto the final lap with Prodigy, and Cataclysm is popping overdrive, not even giving Saf a single chance to even catch up, which is unbelievable.
There's still a lap though, and Naboru has rather long overdrive, as we've seen.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where the overdrive is going to come in. Saf could pop this overdrive at any
point. There it is.
Saf
there's the overdrive. Will they catch up to Mass? 100 meters.
The thing is,
it's 1 turn.
If Saf makes a single mistake here, Cataclysm is going to really profit off of this. All I can say is that this is good. Can Saf get it?
Cataclysm get the overdrive. They're going to break away from Saf, and Saf will not be able to catch up.
Unless...
no, the turn is simply too slow. What an incredible defense from Cataclysm, coming as close as a single turn.
It's just insane to see how close Saf was. That was just unbelievable. Very unfortunate that Saf couldn't catch up. Cataclysm just played too incredibly well. Very well done from Cataclysm, genuinely, and very well done from Saf. Both of them played incredibly out of their mind. They just went absolutely nuts. So, going into this, we do have 50 seconds on the timer, and I believe every member should have more than enough time to actually finish this race off. We are looking at TLR with a 5-point lead here. Really comes down to, can anyone of Street Saints get that lead? They need 1 point here, basically. Or I should say 5. They just need...
Zephyr needs to get a KO here on Equimax. That's what it comes down to. I don't know if anything else will work.
The problem is, I don't know if Equimax is going to allow for that.
I think...
anything.
Here's the problem, tough. Because...
KO'd!
Wow. And now Street Saints is ahead?
Street Saints got ahead. Gronko gets a KO, I believe, on Equimax as well. What an unbelievable turn of events. Zeph was able to barely get that last kill on Equimax, and that is, unfortunately, TLR losing by a single KO to Street Saints.
I mean, yeah, Street Saints played smart on that last turn. That's exactly what they needed. You can never count a team out if they're close enough.
Absolutely. I just cannot believe that situation. It was so incredibly close. It was just coming down to the wire, and with that one KO, it turned the whole last part of the race on its head. Very well done from all 4 of these teams. But in general, these teams, I believe, are fighting back and forth when it comes to just ensuring who gets what placement. TLR was close, but just not close enough, unfortunately.
What an intense race. A complete reversal of what we saw from Gate to the Sky. Prodigy realizing that he needs to adjust his strategy to accommodate for massive sheer dominance, and absolutely pit maneuvers him on the first lap. Very well done.
I fully agree. And the big thing is, with that, in general, I just find it unreal that Prodigy was able to adapt so quickly. We knew Prodigy was a very solid Mr. A player, but the fact that Prodigy was immediately able to adapt right off of that, especially on port of all tracks, that to me is just impressive. Very, very impressive. Now, the question really becomes now, on Belly of the Beast, we're probably going to see Mr. A again, because I feel like this track is not bad for Mr. A at all. Especially with the shortcut the shortcut in Belly of the Beast that saves a ton of time. You can wall ride that, I feel like, very easily, especially if you know what you're doing. So I feel like we're gonna see Mr. A just go absolutely nuts with wall rides in this next situation. But
we will have to see. We will have to see.
Oh, I just can't believe it.
It's been an insane set so far. We're 2 races out of 6.
I just can't believe it's only been 2. It feels like we've been watching races forever at this point. To me, it's just unbelievable that only 2 races in, and it feels like we've already watched 3 or 4 of them. Oh boy, Belly of the Beast though. This is a track that. And I know I've said it already, but this is a track, I feel like this track, more than any other track in the game, is definitely one that is fully down to 1 mistake you lose. Realistically speaking, I feel like if any track is 1 mistake and you're going to fumble, it's this track. This is a track it looks a lot harder than it's ranked at an A rank, but it's much hard. It says it's much harder than it actually is. I feel like there's nothing too incredibly difficult about this track. The hardest part, realistically, is just consistency on the shortcut. That's the hardest thing by far.
Yeah, I mean, that shortcut has claimed so many lives in so many tournaments that we've run here.
I feel like at the very start and on lap, let's call a prediction here. I'm going to predict lap 1, we're going to see no one make a mistake on it. Lap 2, we're going to see 1 person spin out, and then lap 4, we're going to see 3 people spin out and get KO'd. I'm going to make a wild guess.
That is a very wild guess, yeah.
Listen, all it comes down to is one single mistake, and it could cause a 15-car pileup. It really comes down to, will these players make a mistake or not? I just think, like, in general, these players have come such a far way as a team, as not only just teams, but as individuals, that I feel like that even one mistake is not too improbable. Especially on Belly of the Beast, which is a track that, again, the shortcut is one of those, it's a drop-down cut. The drop-down cuts are notoriously dangerous in this game. I mean, heck, look at, I believe the track is Route 1N. Route 1N has a drop-down cut that can immediately screw you over for the rest of the race, and that's something that you have to be very careful about. And we also have Burning Plains. Burning Plains also has a drop-down shortcut, which can easily spin you out. So imagine those two, but now the track is super narrow, and there's a lot of spots where if you hit the wrong part of the wall, you will get spun immediately in the air and be turned backwards. There's a lot of instances on Belly of the Beast that are much more dangerous than Route 1N and Burning Plains, but it's still just as dangerous in its own. It's got things that don't make it nearly as dangerous. Obviously, overwalling on the Belly of the Beast cut is significantly harder, so there is that kind of benefit of it. Now you have less to worry about in general, but can't really count Belly of the Beast out. I mean, heck, there's a reason why it's called Belly of the Beast and not Belly of the Kitten.
Belly of the Beast, you think we're going to see a Fermi pick? Speaking of.
If we don't see a Fermi pick, I would be thoroughly both shocked, but not too shocked, if you get what I'm saying. I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like genuinely, the idea of not seeing a Fermi pick is definitely there. Like, I think there's a pretty sizable chance we don't see Fermi, but I do also think in the same vein that Fermi does have a lot of potential here. I think this is one of Fermi's best tracks personally after extensive time attacking on this track with Fermi, and I haven't been playing a lot of time attack recently at all. I've been practicing it all, but I feel like this is one of the best Fermi tracks by far. This track has basically every bend is perfect for Fermi. The going out of the shortcut is like perfect with a perfect boost. Seeing the strikes have perfect timing. Like everything is like, it legitimately is perfect for Fermi. Everything lines up perfectly. And we saw that with Hexaberry as well. Hexaberry utilizes Fermi on this track absolutely unbelievably well. So if there's ever a track you want to see Fermi on, it is this one. This is Fermi's track. But we do not see the Fermi, and we do see the KG.
We also see 3 Roshins, as we all have expected at this point from these players. And we have the Mr. A mirror yet again.
It's crazy to see that we don't see a single Fermi here. The fact that Fermi is actually as solid as he is on this track and not a single Fermi is picked does bother me, but it makes a lot of sense. These players are hyper-aggressive and they need to have that offensive prowess immediately. It looks like
here's
going
the shortcut.
Oh,
Cataclysm spins out and gets KO'd! Every other leader took it just fine.
Oh my goodness. It looks like my prediction was immediately wrong. I should have said lap 1. Crazy enough, I was going to say someone is going to mess up on lap 1. But no, Mass Cataclysm, this is not good for Cataclysm. But Cataclysm already recovered immediately. So it's looking okay for Cataclysm. But we don't see an immediate pack disparity just yet here. Cataclysm does have the potential to catch up very quickly here. Thankfully, Cataclysm does understand that even that one mistake is not enough to completely destroy Mr. A. And because this is Mr. A and not another character that doesn't have an immediate boost available, this allows Mass Cataclysm to go crazy. And Cataclysm already has an overdrive again? Cataclysm,
wow, incredible. Prodigy popping in first overdrive, getting a kill on Sath. Incredible work.
Absolutely incredible in general here. The fact that Cataclysm and Prodigy both had overdrives nearly at the same time, I feel like Prodigy has now figured out what Cataclysm is doing specifically and is taking a little bit more risk. And I think that's the big thing. Cataclysm seems to be a more risk-taking Mr. A with how they play Mr. A in general and what they want to do with Mr. A, which Prodigy is a more consistent but safe Mr. A. You don't want to put yourself in too much danger, but you want to put yourself in just enough danger that you can consistently hold a lead. But I think now Prodigy realizes that in order to match Cataclysm, you have to be a bit more risky. And Boyfix immediately pops overdrive. We see Boyfix has already got a KO. I think Boyfix is looking for another one. But we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with that KG. Sath
we do see
really misses.
Sath is trying to play combat with all of the other leaders because they're all right next to her. We do see the cut, takes it cleanly, is going to wall ride. It does seem like all the leaders are packed together, but Prodigy is just gone.
Again, this is what happens. You make one mistake and you can get overtaken and someone will go out of control. Again, this is why I've said you cannot let a Mr. A player get away with this. Like, Prodigy and Cataclysm, if you noticed, every time if anyone made a mistake, those two players have capitalized tremendously. They do not allow for it. But again, Saf and Gamma are not that far. Like, even with the fact that Prodigy's playing out of their mind and Cataclysm played out of their mind initially, the Saf and Gamma are still relatively close. It is not like a 1,000 meter run like we saw with Gabrielle on Financial District, right? We're not seeing those kind of levels of front runs. That just shows also the skill disparity is much lower here when it comes to these tracks, such as Belly of the Beast. Belly of the Beast, it seems like every one of these players are very proficient on for the most part. And the only thing that's coming down to is how good their offensive, defensive prowess really is.
Exactly right, Joker. So let's take a look at our leaders here real quick. We do see Saf has gotten a bit of a breakaway on Gamma, I think they're sort of in a pack on their own right now. Prodigy popping yet another overdrive. But let's talk about the members. We do see Papercut and Boyfix here, somewhat close. Are we going to see a combat play from these two? Are we going to see Boyfix bait? Yup, Boyfix is potentially strike bait. No, they're in overdrive. We're going to see if they're able to catch up.
Dude, Katie's looking to take out Roshin.
Good shield.
Shield, but
Boyfix slows down to ensure the kill confirm on Papercut, and absolutely not letting them defend against it. If you don't know, if you defend an attack, there is a 1 second cooldown before you can put up shield again. So Boyfix slowing down in order to ensure that KO was such a good play.
KG is one of those characters that can just so incredibly well. Already over with this race, by the way. Prodigy's just insane. But anyways, like I was saying, real quick, KG's one of those characters that in overdrive, just like Fermi, you can stick with someone with your boost or overdrive, and you can just maintain with them until their shield drops or until you hit their shield. That's the nice thing with characters.
We're so close, by the way, Joker.
I know, it's just incredible to see Boyfix carrying points heavily. Even though Mass was unable to get first here, we do see that Boyfix was able to get a incredible amount of points. Like, it's just unreal. 110 points in 9th place. I believe that's only 35 of those points are from...
Wait, did Emotion Engine take over second?
I believe Emotion Engine barely took over second. I think Equamax got a KO right at the very end.
Unbelievable. So Street Saints is actually coming in 3rd place this race instead of 2nd.
Even with the fact that Prodigy played so well and got that massive breakaway, unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. Equamax was able to really capitalize on the fact that Papercut was unable to have, I assume, didn't have resources or just baited Papercut into using a shield and then did a shark strike or did some overdrive sharking. Really hard to tell since we couldn't see the situation unfold. But in general, it's just crazy to see how, again, one mistake leads immediately to the most incredible things.
Exactly so, and we see these leaders are continuing to brawl it out. It's usually some of the most interactive. At least in the first laps, we saw all the leaders really battling it out, and we saw Mass Cataclysm was undeterred by the fact that they got spun out. But even with their motivation, Prodigy was able to soar ahead. An absolutely astonishing set of plays from all leaders involved.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. Like, it's just, again, these leaders are immediately, like, how do I put this? They are really adapting to each other very quickly. Like, it's just insane to see how these players keep adapting so incredibly quick to one another. Like, even with, again, one mistake and boom, they caught up with each other. Another mistake, boom, they immediately catch back up with each other. Another mistake, boom, they immediately understand how to adapt to that. Like, it's constantly just non-stop adapting and non-stop, like, minimizing mistakes. And these players are doing an incredible job of both things. Again, there's a reason why these guys are the current 4 teams that are here, to say the least.
Right on, Joker.
Again, now, what makes me curious, like, if you want me to be honest, I'm more curious about the fact if we're going to see the KG again on another track later. Obviously, since this is Misty Hills, we're probably not going to see it because, let's be honest, Misty Hills, it's not the best KG track to my knowledge. I know we've seen, I think we've seen Cage get used here, but I don't think it put too much value on the board, unfortunately. But that's only because this track is very hit or miss with characters like KG. You either do incredibly well with KG on this track, or you do kind of I feel like. But again, I could be wrong on that. I'm maybe misremembering the last time I saw KG on this track. But I think we're going to see the Hina, obviously. I think the Roshin makes sense. But I feel like Lavinia feels like she would go well here. Something just tells me Lavinia might be good on Misty Hills, just like how Lavinia is good on Hawk Trail. So, something we'll have to wait and see, like, in general. But again, we will have to see what does end up happening there. I don't know, what do you think? Is there any specific pick that you think is going to be really interesting, or you think we're just going to keep seeing kind of the same stuff? Because I think
I think the strategy is mostly decided by all these teams at this time. It remains to be seen whether I think Emotion Engine and Blue Inkwing might start adapting a little bit, but I think for TLR and Street Saints, their strategy is mostly set in stone from now on, and their entire metagame just being able to revolve around, like, play around each other.
Exactly, I agree with that. And I feel like we're about to get right into this. It's just unbelievable, to say the least. Again, I do want to see how these teams keep adapting to one another, but again, we're going into Misty Hills. We may not see the most crazy picks, so we'll have to wait and see what we do see, though. And going straight into this, the picks we do see are going to be Mr. A, double or triple Roshin, triple
Hina as well.
Triple Hina, triple Roshin. We do see the KG actually from Boyfix again. Boyfix really loves this KG pick right now.
I think Lost Regiment's strategy is to try and support Mass Cataclysm front running by staying in the back and wreaking havoc.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense, especially with the fact that Cataclysm is playing so incredibly well. I think the problem with the strategy that they have is obviously you have one player that's just going out of their way to just front run so incredibly well. But it seems like the players in the back, unless they pick some hyper aggressive stuff, I feel like it's gonna fumble, because if Cataclysm ever gets kind of outplayed, or if Cataclysm ever makes a mistake, that now becomes a lot harder for TLR to do anything. And going to the scores real quick, I just would like to talk about the scores. TLR is in first with 27. Street Saints in second with 20. Motion Engine in third with 19. And Inkwing in fourth with 12. That is insane, to say the least.
What a scoreline. It is very close between all four teams, and we still have a half hour set to go, so don't go anywhere. Any team can make these comebacks.
It's just crazy to think that we've already played 3 races and the scores are within literally 7 points between first and second, and then 7 points between third and fourth. So it literally just one set of bad races for TLR and one set of good races for Inkwing, and it could flip this whole table here. That's the big thing to think about. It's just so crazy to think this could just be flipped in a matter of seconds. So to talk about the game itself, let's get into it talking about the players. So with all the Hinas hanging out and all the Hinas kind of doing their job, we have all 3 Hinas in 6th through 4th place, which means that there are only 3 leaders in top 3. That means there's 1 leader that is actually fallen behind because of the fact there's the 3 Hinas holding 4th through 6th place. And we do see all the Roshins are in 9th, around that 9th to 12th range. So the question is, which leader fell out of the top? Who's kind of getting caught somewhere?
Prodigy, it seems
Prodigy.
like. Prodigy is down in 7th. We see Emotion Engine with a huge point lead over Blue Inkwing and Street Saints as well, at 115 points ahead of 2nd place.
That's just incredible to see.
Yeah, sorry, Street Saints, Blue Inkwing, and Lost Regiment are all struggling to try and keep up with Emotion and his huge point lead. Not to be undeterred though, Gamma is keeping pace with Saf. While the Mass Cataclysm is popping overdrive, they're not letting Gamma get away scot-free either.
Well, unfortunately, Gamma did get away scot-free. Here's the thing though, last time we saw Saf play in this track, this was Saf's track if I remember correctly. This was a track that Saf played out of their mind, and something that, in general, like, she was able to do pretty well. So I believe this is the track that Emotion Engine is going to dominate on. This is definitely one of those tracks that I believe their team as a whole has played incredibly well.
You see, Flamicat has moved up to 3rd. Even all the members are playing out of their mind. The Hinas are really keeping up with these leaders, just showing how good Hina is on this particular track. Emotion Engine 200 points ahead of Blue Ink Wing at 445 points currently. Can they be stopped?
I just cannot believe how much of a lead they have. They have dominated so many points right now and just robbed so many points from these other teams. I just can't believe Emotion Engine is genuinely dominating this hard. And we do see a kill on a Super Plastic from, I believe that was Prodigy. Prodigy's now making a stand to catch back up here. Prodigy is not happy with this situation. Now, we do see...
No, he is not. He still needs to catch up 70 points just to catch up to TLR in third. Boyfix here, popping overdrive, trying to shock out Grunkle, but his overdrive runs out.
Just barely. And Boyfix
shielding an attack. Oh, wow! Paper cut with the shark.
Paper Cut was not letting KG get away with that. KG had no resources and Paper Cut knew it, but Paper Cut unfortunately gets KO'd on the wall. Very unfortunate. All that sharking just for the wall to shark them. Very unfortunate here. Prodigy actually slows down tremendously.
Prodigy getting KO'd by Super Plastic.
Oh, what an insane situation. Prodigy even slowed down and took that turn as tight as possible to try to avoid it, and they were
Gamma is in first place now with overdrive. The gap is closing, but it's still a huge order. 80 points separate Emotion Engine and Blue Ink Wing now.
I just can't believe that Saf fell out of first. I wonder what happened to Saf to cause Gamma to go forward. Definitely was part of the overdrive, obviously.
Gamma was in overdrive, yeah, but even still, it's only a 100-meter gap. Saf still can catch up.
The question is, can Saf catch up? Saf has no resources is the problem. Saf actually has 2 boosts. Well, Saf has 2 boosts. If Saf can overtake here, right at the end...
Wait, maybe?
Oh,
but Saf get flipped! That's so unfortunate, but I don't think it even matters because Emotion Engine have so many points built up. Flamacat in third with 160, locking that down. An insane performance for Emotion Engine on Misty Hills. Incredible! And Boyfix getting a kill on Paper Cut to completely strip them of their overdrive.
I think even with the fact that this even occurred, the fact that the Emotion Engine could have had an even higher amount of points here, but yet got spun out right at the last second, that's got to feel rough. That has to hurt a little bit. We saw Saf, she played so incredibly well, and right at the end, got professional pit maneuvered by a police officer themselves, and just got completely spun out, and Gamma was able to secure that first place. And I believe that first place in general, it may not have been the exact thing they needed to guarantee like second, or that's the first place that they got may not have been the perfect determining factor of them securing second place. But in general, the fact that Gamma did get first place is so incredible here because this ensures that TLR and Street Saints just could not catch up by any means. So
yeah, we see a complete reversal of the script from the first half of the set where Emotion Engine and Blue Ink Wing are actually the ones dominating over Lost Regiment and Street Saints, unlike we've seen in the previous races in the set. This is the momentum that Emotion Engine needs to get right back into the set, and Blue Ink Wing also scoring some points for themselves. This is going to be close.
This is what I'm saying. All it comes down to is literally if the teams that are currently at the top just have a couple bad races. Even have 3 races where you don't get first is 30 points going to another team. That is a lot. And especially for the fact that with 30 points going to another team, this immediately means that you're giving even just Blue Ink Wing the potential to catch up, and you're giving Emotion Engine a chance to catch up. You're giving these players that are so incredibly strong big chances to catch up here. I mean, Emotion Engine was at 19. After that race, they are now, I believe, at 29, whereas TLR is now going to be within only a couple points of Emotion Engine. And Blue Ink Wing taking second also denies it another huge set of points. I believe that puts Ink Wing at 20. I believe if I'm doing my math correctly. So that puts Ink Wing and Emotion Engine up so incredibly heavily. And with the fact that Street Saints fell down, now the whole list of who's got however many points, or who's got what points, it's just so crazy because now it's been flipped entirely on its head.
What an insane set of matches we have here. I cannot wait to see what the point totals are looking like.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing is, we're not done yet. We still have Eden Blues. And then finally, if I remember correct, the last track that we have, if I can remember, let me try to recall this. Might have to go look at the track list. We have Assembly Site B, right? Yes, it is. We have Assembly Site B right after this. So these tracks are not letting up. They are making this incredibly hard. The tracks are trying to be as brutal as possible for these teams, making it so hard to just get away with anything at all. The fact that this is even occurring is definitely something to be kind of shocked about. But we are immediately getting into Eden Blues. Eden Blues, surprisingly a 5-lap track, which it feels like it shouldn't be. But Eden Blues kind of goes quick. If you honestly, it may not be a blink and you miss it type track, but it definitely feels a lot faster than it looks.
For sure. We're gonna see what the composition is looking like. We do see an Akemi!
Akemi, KG, Boyfix is really loving this KG pick. We're seeing some crazy picks here today.
Do we have the Mr. A mirror?
We do not have the Mr. A mirror. Prodigy is actually off it. Paper Cut went to Noboru this time. We do. So Prodigy is the only one now on. Or not Prodigy. No. Cataclysm is the only one still holding the Mr. A lockdown. But Prodigy does not want to fight this no more. So I think Prodigy is more consistent with members on Eden Blues. And Eden Blues does have a, if I remember correctly, there's a shortcut upcoming on Eden Blues very shortly here. Yep, it's
right here. The off-road cut right here. It's very awkward though, because you don't have much room to turn around and be able to keep all of your speed.
Exactly, it's an immediate 90 degree. Now we do see immediately at the very start of this, Blue Inkwing is holding all the top 3 positional points of basically, well, top 2. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but if Blue Inkwing can somehow manage to keep this for the rest of the race, this could be so incredibly good for Blue Inkwing, genuinely.
They really need this this point output, yeah, but they seem to be holding steady. But remember, Eden Blues is a 5-lap track, and it's among the longer end. Even though it feels a lot faster than it is still quite long.
It just feels crazy to say that because it definitely doesn't feel like it should be a 5-lap track. But again, if it really comes down to, can we see these teams actually hold this? Now we are seeing that Blue Inkwing's kind of maintaining their points. They're doing a really good job, and all the other teams are struggling. But they are getting fought with TLR. TLR's trying to overtake Gamma and or Sting.
Equimax striking through the cut, but they hit the wall. Hitting the wall here is really common on that shortcut, and it really kills your speed if you happen to do that.
Not only just kills your speed, but in general, the fact of hitting that wall, it now puts Equimax in a really bad position. This is not the track. It looks like this is not the track for Emotion Edge, and Emotion Edge does not like this track by any means. This seems to be one of the tracks that not a lot of players seem to practice too much, but it looks like Blue Inkwing was ready for this track big time because they are denying Super Plastic any opportunity to get ahead. This is something that, in general, and another amazing shield from Stingblaze. But again, this is just incredible to see. Now, real quick, while we're waiting for some action to happen outside of Sting just getting strike baited nonstop here, we'll talk about the points here. TLR has 32 points currently, with Emotion Engine with 29, Street Saints with 24, a KO on the shortcut, and Blue Inkwing with 19.
Oh wait, we see a position swap. Inkwing is no longer completely dominating. Lost Regiment is now on top.
This is really important now. Lost Regiment being here is actually so incredibly important because now they're in a position where they could potentially actually overtake Gamma if Gamma makes any mistake here. But we do see, I believe, Emotion Engine Saf is now about to overtake Gamma here very shortly. But if not, Gamma actually just broke away from Saf, I believe. Saf unable to actually overtake Gamma here is really unfortunate for Saf. Saf really needed that. So if Gamma can keep maintaining this first place position, this could be really problematic for the rest of the teams here. This could be exactly what they want. And Gamma's constantly fighting with Saf right now, I believe, going back and forth on this. We're seeing all the leaders take the cut here. Cataclysm taking it super well here. Uses a little bit of boost and tries to overdrive Shark, but Saf with an amazing call out on that. And assuming that Cataclysm was going to go for the overdrive Shark. Very smart and very well done by
Cataclysm bumps into a wall, though. That's a huge mistake.
It is, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop Cataclysm. I think Cataclysm now put themselves in a better position. Prodigy is now, unfortunately, stuck in the back here with Akemi. Akemi is in a very tough spot here. This is not where Akemi wants to be, and Akemi doesn't have overdrive or anything, so it looks like Akemi might have already used overdrive potentially, or has been striking a lot. So it seems very unfortunate here. Boyfix is getting really close to an overdrive. He tries to strike.
Good shield from Grunkle Harry. Huge. They really need this. The point differential is so tiny, they cannot afford to be KO'd at all if they want to stay in the game. We have Gamma going into the final lap here. They need to keep this advantage in order to have a chance of coming back into the game.
Exactly. And Equimax did strike bait Boyfix. Goes for the strike, but Boyfix had he just got the sync he needed just barely. That is so incredible for Boyfix. Boyfix playing to their sync so perfectly. Like, he perfectly played sync. Now, this is going to be really hard for Equamax to get anything here, and I believe TLR is gaining more points by the second here. TLR at 340 here. Grunkle spins out.
Here gets turnaround. That is so bad for Blue Inkwing.
And the problem is, because Boyfix is behind Grunkle, if Boyfix catches up here, this could be really bad. This could even make it almost impossible, if not make it completely impossible for Blue Inkwing to catch up here. Depends if Boyfix can actually catch up here, but it looks like Boyfix is not going to be able to, and the overdrive barely ends. Equamax looking for a strike, and gets KO'd! Prodigy did not allow for it. Prodigy was not having it. Prodigy is constantly fighting and KOing Equamax. What is going on? It is a chain after chain after chain. Equamax has now hit the brakes. They're both stuck at the gas station looking for a refill, and Prodigy got the refill first and is driving away. Prodigy was trying to chain KO off Equamax non-stop here, but Equamax recognized it and stopped. And Prodigy, I think, was trying to deny Equamax getting any positional points at all by trying to get forcing a DNF. What a race. And we do see TLR takes it with 340 points.
It was so close. Inkwing had the momentum they needed, but Lost Regiment was able to capitalize on their mistakes and take first place yet again.
It's just insane to see how this is occurring. Like, this is exactly the same stuff we saw previously in some of the previous Screamer Saturdays, where we're seeing people constantly slowing down or trying to force strike baits and things of that nature, and it's just going out of control. Like, again, one wrong move, one wrong mistake, anything of that nature, and boom, you are immediately going to get taken out. It's something that you cannot be messing around with too much. You have to be very cautious. And these teams are playing to their power or their strengths very, like, carefully here. They're not trying to overstep their boundaries, but at the same time, even when not overstepping their boundaries, they are kind of going out of control here. So, again, it is something that, to me at least, is just unbelievable.
Woo! What an exhilarating race that race was. Where are we going next? We're going to Assembly Site B. I do believe this is the final track of the set, so you know how it goes around here. Everybody say it with me in chat. One more race.
One more race? Dude, I just can't believe it's one more. The craziest part is, to think about this, like, genuinely, I genuinely think, like, the best way to put this, you have a situation where, to say the least, I should say, with this last race, I don't think the points are close enough for a tiebreaker scenario, but they could be. We will have to wait and see, but I believe we are in a position where no tiebreakers can occur. And I believe, if I'm correct, based on the point totals that last time I knew, we may have a guaranteed situation for one team, for what position they get. Again, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say this much. It is pretty insane and pretty close last time I saw.
I am so ready for these finals, Joker. It's going to be quite the show.
Quite the show is an understatement. Like, genuinely.
Just have to wait a little bit more for our teams to prepare for the last race ahead.
Oh boy, I am excited. So, the question really becomes now, what are we going to see? Just only Hina Roshin for this last race because it's such a hairpinny track? I don't think so. I think if we only saw Hina Roshin, we'd be lying to ourselves, because these players are going out of their way to play some of the most unbelievable picks and some of the most amazing and interesting picks. So again, to say for certain, if we only saw a select couple picks, again, be shocked. I want to say KG's going to get picked.
I personally think KG, Boyfix has been playing this KG so well that I feel like it'd be interesting to not see the KG at this point. I don't know, what do you think? Because KG is one of those picks that, especially after getting locked in so many times, there's just no way we don't see KG at this point, right?
It depends on what Boyfix wants to do. I'm really not sure what's gonna happen here.
Genuinely, I don't know either. Boyfix. Oh. All right.
We have our we have information coming in before we do the final race. We have our scores coming up here on the screen. We see Lost Regiment in first place with 42 points. We have Emotion Engine with 34, Street Saints with 28, and Blue Inkwing with 26. What a lineup of teams here. They've all performed so well. Joker, what do you have to say about this?
Honestly, for as good as these teams have been playing, the craziest part is I don't think a single tie can occur among any of the teams. None of the teams are close enough at all to create a tie situation. Like, I don't see a world that we can get a tie here unless we somehow change, unless we randomly change the point structure right now. That's the thing. I think we are seeing a situation where everyone's going to have a specifically defined placement by the end of this, and no one's going to be... We may have some numbers that are close, but we're not going to have any team tie. We'll say, though, this has been some of the craziest screamer that we've seen. Or this hasn't been some of the craziest screamer we've seen, but it's definitely some of the consistent screamer. These players are playing madly consistent. We are not seeing some of the same... We're not seeing the same levels of absolute absurdity as some of the other players and things of that nature. But again, this is just unreal, to say the least.
Whew. What a round. Let's get into our final race here on Assembly Site B to close out Screamer Saturdays number 5.
And oh boy, close out we shall. The question is, are we going to see a lot of players do some crazy stuff, or are we just going to see everyone just kind of minding their own business with their picks? What are we thinking? Well,
let's
we won't have to think for long.
At this point, I don't have any predictions. Let's see. We do have Mr. A coming out from Prodigy. Mass Cataclysm switching over to Hina. If
we see Super Plastic takes Nobaru here. First time we've seen TLR actually swap their leader here. We do see Lavinia with Equimax, but we do see 3 Hinas. We do see 2 Gregors. It was Saf still running the Ritzko Gamma as well. And then we did see Papercut as the only Roshin, and Boyfix still rocking the KG. What an incredible situation here. Some really unique picks, honestly. Maybe not the most unique, but definitely some very unique stuff here, genuinely. Like, to me, that's what's crazy, is there are some very unique picks here. Even amongst the fact that a lot of these players want to play the best stuff that they can, we are seeing some very unique things even with that. Super Plastic actually maintaining with Prodigy very well with this Nobaru pick, and actually denying Prodigy by staying in front of Prodigy. But remember, because of Mr. A's having overdrive at much weird and very different intervals and at much more weird times, this could easily allow for Prodigy to get some strike shark or overdrive sharking to happen. But we do see Stingblaze and Flammy are holding second and third. This is what I mean.
Super Plastic with a bump, but they're still pretty far up.
We do see a KO immediately coming out, which is insane to see. But again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Hina as a pick is just unbelievably consistent and unbelievably strong. Like, Hina legitimately makes Ritzko sometimes look like she's the member. And that's just how crazy, and I keep saying it so much. And we're seeing people getting striked out immediately here on the shortcut. Off-road shortcut.
Boyfix has entered overdrive. Will they be able to catch up here on the straightaway?
Potentially.
Looking like they're trying.
But doesn't. Ends barely. Umax unfortunately wastes a sync bar. Very, very unfortunate here. Now we do see Prodigy is now trying to overtake Super Plastic here, seeing if Prodigy can finally get what they want. Now it does look like Prodigy is in a position of being ready to overdrive Shark and doesn't go for it, trying to bait it. Oh, but baits it for too long. Shark.
Prodigy is going to use this as an advantage to corner and try and overtake here. And it does leave Super Plastic at a bit of a deficit, 250 meters and growing.
if this actually, that one situation actually allowed for Super Plastic to get overtaken by Saf as well. She was actually able to overtake Super Plastic due to that, and Super Plastic got KO'd by Flammy. Flammy is not allowing Super Plastic to get away with that. Prodigy with the wall, which not only slowing down Super Plastic, but pushing Super Plastic into the wall and then cornered extremely well. This allowed for Saf and Flammy to actually capitalize so incredibly hard on this. And Flammy's trying to avoid this with an amazing shield, but where did Super Plastic go? It looks like Super Plastic just barely pixel perfect hit Flammy just to pop the sync. Would have been better if Super Plastic didn't hit the shield so that the sync was wasted. But hey, it's all right. Now, we do see Zeph here. Zeph is trying to min-max on Gregor here, trying to get to level 2 as fast as possible here. Well, level 3, I should say. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Actually, it looks like it already has occurred. That's insane to see that Zeph's already at max level Gregor in less than before lap 3 even occurs. People are really min-maxing Gregor, and that's one of the coolest things to see in my opinion. Is we're seeing Gregor, well, not only is he breaking space and reality every time he uses a strike here on these corners, but he's also just in general able to be min-max so much further than I ever thought that I would have ever been able to see. Which honestly,
we do see Emotion Engine with a 110-point lead over second place here. They do have quite the sizable lead because Street Saints members are kind of struggling here in the back. Akamax is 500 meters away from Zephyr. I don't know if Zephyr's going to be able to make up those spots. He might have to resort to KOs to try and get something done.
Now the problem is that Zeph, the issue with this is that Zeph I don't think is near anyone, and even if Zeph tries to get a lot of KOs for Street Saints, you gotta remember, all these players that are here right now playing in the finals are incredibly good when it comes to playing defensive. And we do see the timer has started. Everyone's got 1 minute, but this race is going to be over in 30 seconds. So
we do have Saf finishing it first, being able to take it barely over Prodigy.
This is the thing. Saf is very proficient at tracks like Misty Hills and Assembly Site B, but it also in the same vein, it seems like Saf is just not prepared for tracks such as I believe Belly of the Beast, which is not a good track for a motion engine. So it does come out. It is a bit hard for a motion engine or just any team to be very consistent on every track. But as you tell, when it matters most, Emotion Engine is very strong on these tech tracks. But unfortunately, I do not believe it is enough points, even with the fact that Emotion Engine got a clean first place and with an amazing job done from their team as a whole. Even with that, unfortunately, it just wasn't enough.
We do have our results of the last race of the Motion Engine cleanly taking it, and now all we have to do is wait for the results from our finals.
Exactly, and I cannot wait to hear the results here of how close everything was. Because again, I just couldn't believe how close it was. It just was unbelievably close. Like, it was to a point that I genuinely wasn't expecting it to be this close. Now, granted, it wasn't as close as some of the other lobbies or potentially some of the past Screamer Saturdays, but when it came to points, everyone was squeaking out points left, right, and center, and those times of squeaking out those points just barely was enough to allow for these teams to actually just get the points they needed. And again, it looked like one team was going to succeed, and then another team would overtake. That team looks like they're going to succeed, another team would overtake. And it was this constant back and forth that was what really made this whole entire thing shine just out of control, to say the least.
100%, and this final set truly was invigorating, but then again, so are all the final sets for all of our Screamer Saturdays events, and this one was no different.
Exactly. And hey, we may not have seen the most incredible out of this world plays like we've seen in previous Screamer Saturdays, but what we did see was something else that was incredible, which is the incredible consistency and adaptability of every player here. That, to me, is something that cannot be understated. I think, genuinely, the amount of consistency when it comes to these players is unbelievable. Like, these players were playing incredibly consistent non-stop, and that's what really showed, like, just showcased a lot of important skill. Is you don't have to be always playing perfectly. It's not about having the min-maxed everything to play perfectly. What matters the most is consistency, and consistency all these teams had. Without this consistency from all four of these teams, I think this would have been a completely different series. But regardless of that fact, these teams showcase something very important, and in general, seriously, fantastic job from every team that made it to finals, played in finals, but also to the teams that tried to make it to finals. What an incredible Screamer Saturday. I was thoroughly excited about this one.
Let's get the scores up from back end here, just so we can all talk about them.
And here we are. These scores are ready.
Wow. 47 points. The Lost Regiment are Screamer Saturdays champions of Screamer Saturdays number 5. We have Motion Engine following very closely behind at 44 points. Street Saints at 35. Blue Inkwing at 30. All amazing teams. This was definitely one of the most stacked lineups we've had on a finals in Screamer Saturdays. All the practice from the last couple of months have been paying off, and this is the Lost Regiment's first tournament win.
It's
so
incredible.
Congratulations to them.
Sorry for cutting you off. I do agree. Congratulations to Lost Regiment. I was just going to say, because I just got too excited. I'm so sorry, Milla. Genuinely, it's just crazy to think that this is the first time TLR has actually won. Yet they're a group of incredible players. Like, they've actually done a lot of, in general, like, pushing the meta in a lot of ways. Like with the Mr. A front-running strat, that was first made by them, like, as a team. And it was first, I believe, set up by Boyfix, if I remember correctly. Which, in general, the fact that this team has come so far, and they were so close consistently, they were just inching further and further and further, and now they finally hit that first place that they've been looking for. And against a lot of really impressive teams and players, it's just fantastic. Now, I will say, when it comes to this, I genuinely think there's a lot of craziness that has occurred with this. I think there's a lot of really interesting things that have occurred. I just cannot believe TLR, this is finally the first time TLR has actually, in general, made it. Like, to me, that actually shocked me. Alright. Alrighty. Post-race interview, we are going to be talking with the winners, TLR, I believe.
Correct, Joker.
I'm very excited to talk with TLR and see what their thoughts are, genuinely, because it's just insane, to say the least.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, welcome in. Congratulations on winning Screamer Saturdays number 5. There's Cataclysm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know necessarily what to say. I guess we've come a long way. We really thought we were at a hurdle, because the last, I don't know, I guess like 1 through 4 was second places. So I legitimately thought I was cursed, because a similar thing happened in a previous game I played. But yeah, we picked up Cataclysm, which is this is his first tournament, and we somehow won. I don't know how, and like, everybody was so good. Like, this was the most stress-inducing one, I think.
Well, we are super proud to see your guys' advancement throughout the tournaments. You guys have been here with us since Welcome to Neo Ray, and it has been so exciting seeing you guys perform every single time you've been here. Especially Cataclysm, who we have not seen on the tournament scene until now. Cataclysm, I want to ask you, how was your first tournament experience?
I mean, I knew everyone in the lobby. You know, I've raced with them before, and they're all really good drivers. And having them race at their best, you know, it really puts in perspective of how close and how good everyone is here. And that's really it. You know, like, they're all good. You know, I feel like I performed all right for my first tournament. I made some mistakes here or there, but I mean, it's everyone's good, so who doesn't make a mistake or two? So.
Dead on. Boyfix, Skewer Plastic, do you have anything to add on to how exactly you guys came to pick up Cataclysm, or just on your tournament experience in general?
The tournament experience in general was pretty good this time. I want to shout out our Ride or Dice EE, who we kind of always end up being very close in points to, and they creamed us in the first round. So shout out to them. But everyone else also played really well, and it was, yeah, as Boyfix said, it was really stress-inducing, and I was actually really worried about today. Not worried, but I wasn't expecting much from today. But look where it got us, I guess. It worked out in the end.
Dead on. Joker, Knight, got any questions for these lovely fellows?
I do got one question. So, Boyfix, I wanted to know, what was the idea for, one, no longer playing the leader role and giving it to Cataclysm, and two, with the KG pick, I noticed that when you opted in the KG, you had a really solid race initially with them, and then you just kept running them. Was that because of the momentum that KG provided to you?
Well, yes. So I'll answer the first part, the not playing leader. The reason is, I have in my team, right now, there's 3 very good leaders. Like, it's me, Mass, and Super Plastic currently. And we're all incredibly good leaders. But the thing is, why would I put myself as leader when I can put either one of them as leader, and then I can take a member role, because I'm also, like, good pace on member. And for the second thing, it's because I kind of vibe picked KG, but on the next race, like, I've thought about it, and no one really expects the KG, and there's not much counterplay to him. So, and the thing is, like, with level 2 and sharking, which is basically the main way KG gets kills, and like parking lots, stuff like that. I know it's frowned upon strategies, but sometimes have to do it. There literally is no counterplay, and at level 2 he just runs away. So it's like the perfect character, basically. You can brawl, but you can end up in 6th somehow. With like 5 kills or 4. It's why I understand why Pan plays KG now. Because it's such a versatile character.
Honestly, it's unbelievable to watch. Yeah, like, honestly, after seeing Pan and now you've been playing KG, like, it really makes me think that we're going to see a lot more KGs, because now that's been 2 really insane players that have showcased KG's power and showcased how powerful KG can be, especially in the right hands with the right knowledge. I'm very excited to see if KG does get picked more in the future.
Well, I do have to add to that, Equimax has been grinding KG a lot, so I do believe we'll see another one there. Well, we have seen already, I believe. So yeah. There will be more popping up, I do feel. Because the value on that character is immense.
Yep, and we are excited to see Mass Cataclysm back as well for more insane action, because us up in the cast moves, you guys provided us quite a few surprises, especially with the KG pick as mentioned. We absolutely were not expecting that, and of course Mass Cataclysm showing up for the very first time on stream during the finals and just blowing everyone out of the water on race 1. It was incredible to see. That was such a good front run.
Make this guy look like Downtown Run.
Literally, like, gate to the sky, like, just made it look effortless. There's nothing more, no notes on that.
To be fair, I have put 100 hours into this game in the last 2 weeks, so I was ready.
Complete dedication. We respect it. Is there anything else you guys wanna add on here before we conclude?
I guess I'll say it as a team. thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you to everyone who competes. Because without the viewers or the people that compete, there would be no tournament. And thank you to the organizers for even providing the opportunity itself to make a tournament. Thank you to Joker and Villa specifically for the amazing casting that you've been doing for 6 tournaments now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd get this far.
Killing it.
For real.
Thank you. You guys are you guys as players are our lifeblood here at the commentary. So when you guys put on a show, we're able to deliver.
I just want to say I'm never doing an 8-hour cast again.
To the community as well. Just a few sentences. I feel like this community has been an absolute joy to be in. I know I was struggling with loneliness before I found them, and I know a lot of other people were as well. And with this stupid drifting game, the world feels a little bit less lonely, and I want to thank everyone for that.
I mirrored the plastic statement. Like I probably couldn't have worded it any better. So
Yeah, and I triple down on it. It's this game brings people together like nothing I've played before, and yeah, it gets my mind off things. It gets a lot of people's minds off things, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's not necessarily how good it plays or whatever. It's people together and makes them kind of relax, so to say.
Yeah, well, speaking as someone who's been seeing you guys from the very beginning, I echo what Mila and Joker have already said. It is such a treat to see you guys take home that well-deserved first place after a string of very, very strong performances, and you know, more to come for sure. Thank you guys for joining us for this post-race interview, post-tournament interview. You know, everybody else was just keeping the seat warm for you guys. So, I guess last question before we wrap it up. What do you have to say to your competitors for the next Screamer Saturdays? Any challenges? Any? Yeah.
We'll only get better.
Well, it's only up from here. That's the confident thing to say. But no, I hope you guys all show out and play your best. What can I say? That's my...
Yeah, I just look forward to racing with these people more. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I got the only ego answer.
Alright, y'all heard them. Y'all heard TLR. They're only going to get better. I believe that very firmly. But be sure to come out and race with them. Be sure to come out and watch and support. Thank you guys again for joining us for this interview. And amazing performance today. Genuinely just such a treat having you guys up on stream. Yeah, you guys have... I know, Boyfix, it's very late for you at the very least, and same with Super Plastic, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for joining again. And great debut from you as well, Mass Cataclysm. It was great to see you, Mr. A.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
A great one.
Have a good one.
Honestly, what an incredible team, and honestly, what an incredible job from every team today. Like, genuinely, I can't believe how well these teams have played. Like, I'm so excited for the next time we do the Screamer Saturday. Honestly, it's just fantastic. I'm very much enjoying it. It's just awesome. I will say, though, to what Boyfix said about the casting, I know they didn't hear me because I talked at a bad time. I'm not doing another 8-hour solo casting session ever again. You're not catching me doing that. That's all I got.
We'll
Oh
make
my
sure
goodness,
that.
Joker.
Speaking of which, I'm going to use this time to plug something. We are taking staff signups in the server. We've got a few signups. I will be reaching out to people who signed up later today or early tomorrow. But for anybody else who's interested in helping us out with running these events, maybe expanding on them in some ways, we have a lot of really cool community formats that haven't yet had the chance to shine. Please do show up to our server. Give it a once over. Just think about it a little bit. See if you're willing to help us out in any, whatever big or small ways you're able to do so. But yeah, I just wanted to plug that real quick, so we can let poor Joker here not have to do another 8 or 10 hour solo casting session in case one of us is unavailable.
I will cry. Otherwise, I got nothing else to talk about genuinely for the Screamer Saturday. I think everything went super well. I think this was really fun, and I'm very excited to see how the teams adapt and improve for the next time. I don't know what you guys have to say after that, though. It's all up to you guys. What do you got to say, Mila? And
I think, I mean, hey, this has been an absolute blast, like always, just commentating alongside you, Joker, and running these tournaments. Please continue showing your support, guys. It means the world to us.
Knight, do you have anything left?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. Thank you guys again for showing up and continuing to support the Screamer Saturdays. Thank you guys again for continuing to be a big part of the community. I also want to give a big shout out to Rambini, who just had, I believe, their birthday yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm getting my dates confused, but I know for a fact they just had their birthday. They are in charge of the Screamer Online. So, yes, yesterday.
Happy birthday!
Okay, yes. So, yes. Oh, it's today. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was today as in like PST or EST. I got my time zones mixed up. I'm not too great with that, but thank you so much to Rambini for running Screamer Online, a major community hub. If you guys are part of our server but not part of that, please do go join Screamer Online. Rambini also participated today, so just happy birthday, Rambini. Thank you so much for all that you do and all that the people at Screamer Online do. Thank you one more time to everybody who watched us and supported us. Thank you again to Joker and Mila for casting, and we will see you all at the next event. Stay tuned and have a great day.
Have a great one, everybody.